Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another live stream and the penultimate live stream of the season. It's a lovely word, penultimate. I found out the other day that pre-penultimate is how you describe the one before the penultimate. The penultimate. No, not that would make sense. The penultimate would be... Anyway, we're not going to get into that now. Welcome back to another stream. 2 streams left, including this one, of course. And we are at that point of the season where I lose every brain cell that I once had. Floating mic. It's here. It is here. The mic is it. Watching the bath. You're watching me in the bath. That's cheeky. That is cheeky. So sad to be done next week. Right. I want your opinions. Are you happy to see the back of this season? You'd carry on playing, but you're not too fast. Or are you very sad to see it end? Let me know. Let me know. And apologies that the camera's playing up immediately. It's always fun when that happens, isn't it? Wants to be laggy from the start today, apparently. Normally does it a little bit in. Have I had a new haircut? I have. Thank you for noticing. I appreciate that. Why are we doing this today, camera? Why have you decided? Do you know what? Where's... Oh, my egg's not there. Is my egg there? There's the egg. There you go. This is what... We don't want this, do we? I came for the content, I stay for the rambling. Once my computer decides to work, Bass with a huge super chat already. Dear Lord Bass, thank you for the support, my friend. Said, hi legend, I have an FPL pickle this week. I respect it. Current team. Okay, I've got your team, Bass. Benches Areola, Mateta, Livramento, Timber. Marmoush, Mateta out for Watkins and a cheap forward. Or KDB, Mateta for Watkins and Gibbs White next week, Saka. I think, Bass, I like Marmoush, Mateta out for Watkins and Vardy. I think Vardy's got to score. It's his 500th appearance. It will be his 150th Premier League goal and his 200th goal for Leicester. It's just like it's all written in the stars ready for Vardy to score. I just think he will, personally. That is one sexy egg. I mean, I am here. I'm obviously not the sexy egg, but my computer's having a fit and it lags. So we're just going to focus on the audio. If the audio doesn't work, then let me know. But hopefully it will. By the way, next season, guys, I am moving to a place with much better internet, supposedly. And I'm buying a very, very good new high-powered computer. So I'll have a better computer and better internet. So if it doesn't work at that stage, then I just give up, you know? Those numbers for Vardy are literally perfect. How has he managed that? I almost wonder, hear me out here, is this a silly thing to say? I wonder if he scores the 200th goal, whether he'll go for a 201st. Or do you reckon he'll just keep it at 200? I've got a feeling he might not even go for it. I don't know. Maybe that's a crazy thing to say. Who to start, Bowen or Wood? Ooh, Bowen or Wood. I reckon I would still go Jared Bowen, but Wood is definitely on pens, whereas if Paquetá starts, I think I would still go Jared Bowen. I think I'll go Jared Bowen. It has to be 200 on the dot. Yeah, that's kind of what I feel as well. Eze or Isak? If you need to start one this week, I'd start Eze ahead of Isak, I think. Shazam with the big boy super chat. Jesus. You and Bass need to stop it. Thank you, my friend. Said, afternoon, Ross. Good to see the egg back. I don't know if you mean me or the image of the egg, but both of the eggs are here. I will come back soon. Really great videos this week. Thank you. I know you covered some of this, but still unsure what to do. Would you roll or do Isak to Watkins this week? Also, who to bench? Raya or Sells, Saliba or Konsa? Cheers. I would probably... Right, so to answer the first one, I think I would do Isak to Watkins. We'll discuss it throughout the stream because it depends on like how many points you need to make up, how much you're chasing, what your plans are for 38. Because maybe doing Isak to Watkins blocks you from then being able to downgrade Isak and get Saka in midfield, for example. So it isn't just as simple as saying, would I do Isak to Watkins? But if it was to be simplified, I would do Isak to Watkins. And then I would probably start one of your Arsenal defenders. And I think Konsa's got a really good chance for a clean sheet this week. So I think I would start Raya and Konsa. So I think I would do the Watkins move, start Raya, start Konsa. I don't hate the idea of benching both Arsenal defenders and starting Sells and Konsa. I would be starting Konsa ahead of Saliba, Shazam. Hopefully that helps. Is my computer functioning now? Should we try? Hello. It's me. I'm back. Temporarily, maybe. Right. I can get to answering your question. You can actually see my face. You can actually see my face. It's so sunny in the UK, by the way. The sun is like blaring through my blind. But we move. I'm not going to complain about the sun. Brody says, got triple captain left. Who would you use it on? I think I would use it in 38 on Saka, Salah, or a Bournemouth player. I don't mind using it this week on Watkins or Palmer, by the way. Like, if you think either of them are fantastic captaincy shouts, then why not? I just think that the captains are slightly better in 38, especially if you could go for Bukayo Saka against Southampton. Lewis Hardy says, I'm currently top of my mini league by 100 points and 1.5k in the world. Fair play, Lewis. My second full season. Doing that on your second full season is incredible, mate. I couldn't be happier, so now it's time to have a bit of fun. Vardy in for this game week and he's captain. Imagine being 1.5k in the world and captaining Vardy. I tell you what, mate, massive respect. It's all written in the stars. What I will say again is I don't think Vardy will go for 2 or 3 goals. So you're probably looking at somewhere between like 6 and 9 if he does return. I don't know that he'll get multiple, but I suppose he could get an assist as well. So you never know. But yeah, I like the Vardy punt. I think it's fun and it's, again, really, most people that play FPL, we are like romantic football fans at heart. And so I think if we're romantic football fans, we like to buy into these narratives, and the Vardy narrative is amazing. DK Stinson says, Watkins and Beto or Watkins and Vardy? I prefer Vardy to Beto, but bear in mind that Vardy will not play in game week 38, Beto will. So if you need a player for 38, go Beto. If you don't need a player for 38 because your other 7 attackers are good and you've got some decent bench cover with your defence, then go Vardy. But yeah, there is a chance that if you needed then your attacker in 38, Vardy does stitch you up slightly. Bass with another super chat says, thanks. Oh, sorry, mate. I've just lost you. Thanks, Legend. As always, love the content. Thank you, mate. It's so much support. Vardy would be amazing. Loud engine. Vardy would be amazing. Then decision between KDB and Vardy. Almost top 25k. What do you think between those two? Well, in terms of starting one, you wouldn't have to do that, would you? So you do Watkins and Marmoush out. I'd probably bench Wissa, mate. If you're talking about captaincy, I think I probably slightly prefer Vardy to KDB. But if you're talking about starting one, I'd be tempted to maybe even bench Wissa ahead of those two. I don't think I'd want to bench KDB or Vardy. The other thing that you could do... Oh, no, because you need the funds, don't you? The other thing that you could do, I suppose, is go for Evan-Ilson instead and bench Evan-Ilson this week. I would be tempted to do that, mate, if you've got a bit of a benching headache anyway. Rather than Vardy go for Evan-Ilson, it sorts out your benching headache this week, and then in 38, you've got Evan-Ilson to come in. So yeah, it'll probably be between Vardy and Evan-Ilson for me, Bass. Dan M says, hi Ross, I'm chasing a 15-point gap. That's definitely possible, Dan. Leader has Watkins, so I'm going elsewhere. Do you prefer Palmer or Vardy? If Vardy, would you sell Mateta, Marmoush, Isak? Leader has Isak, but I just don't fancy Marmoush's minutes right now. I think Palmer has a significantly higher ceiling than Vardy. I'm talking double the ceiling of Vardy. I think Vardy is probably as likely to get 1 return, but Palmer can go 2, 3, 4, 5 returns in a game. And Vardy, for whatever reason, like his age, also I just don't think he needs to get more than the 1 goal to hit that 200. I just don't see Vardy as having that elite ceiling, so I would go for Palmer, mate. I think I've got Palmer as the 4th best captain if you look at the list in the top left, but if we're talking about ceiling, Palmer has the highest ceiling in the Premier League. There aren't many or any players in the Premier League that can get 20 plus points in multiple times in a season. So yeah, I really like the Palmer shout if you're going for like maximum possible gain. If you are going to go Vardy though, mate, I would definitely sell Mateta. I'd definitely sell Mateta. I have Everton's O'Brien and I'm on bench boost. Should I transfer him out? No, O'Brien's fit, Yusuf. So if you've not seen from the press conference about 2 hours before the stream started, Moyes said that O'Brien is fit and available. I also wouldn't transfer Sells to Malenka. I would keep both of them. There's no upside for me selling O'Brien or selling Sells, personally. Manuel Pimpao says, hi Ross, Mateta to Watkins or Vardy for free, both cap. Okay, so Mateta to Watkins for a -4 or just do it to Vardy for free. I think considering game week 38 as well, I would do Watkins for the -4 because in 38, Watkins is still great against United, whereas again, you don't get Vardy. So I think I would do the Watkins -4 unless you just really want to go for the Vardy cap punt. Hunter Rico says, thanks for the great videos throughout this season. Favourite show is FPL Therapy. I appreciate that. Thank you for all of the support on Therapy this year. If you're watching this right now and you listen, I really appreciate it. One last question. Who should I start, Isak or Cunha? Thanks. Oh, that's so tough. Isak's minutes are super secure. I still think, given the fixtures, I would start Cunha. Like, playing Crystal Palace after the FA Cup final, there is a risk that Cunha doesn't start, right? There, he could absolutely be on the bench. He only played 59 minutes last week, but I think Cunha's got a higher ceiling for me this week, so I would go Cunha. Will Vitali says, hey, Ross, thanks for everything as always. You're more than welcome, Will. Start Saliba or AWB? Ooh, Wan-Bissaka or Saliba? I'd start Wan-Bissaka, mate. I would. He's shown some real attacking threat recently. Forest haven't been scoring tons of goals. He's playing at home. I like Wan-Bissaka. I would. Chasing Mini League, 42 points behind. I don't want to say you should definitely accept second place, Kez, but 42 points, you would have to get a hell of a lot of luck to catch that. But still go for it, obviously. Thinking Marmoush to Vardy and Rodgers to Eze for a -4. I absolutely wouldn't in a million years sell Rodgers. Wouldn't sell Rodgers in a million years. I think Rodgers is better than Eze this week. Marmoush to Vardy, I like a lot. Marmoush to Vardy in cap or something fun like that. I would be looking at Palmer as well if you can get him in. Again, high upside differential that can on a given... Like, he got a hat-trick against United last season. On his day, Palmer can get 20 plus points easily. Like, it doesn't even look like he has to break his stride to do it. So, I think if I was really chasing this week, Palmer would be the guy for me. Because, yeah, it could go horribly wrong, but oh well. If it goes horribly wrong, it goes horribly wrong. It could also go very right. Alex says, I have the same attackers as you and one transfer as well. Cool. Does it make sense to take a -4 to go from Isak and Mateta to Watkins and Vardy? I could then bring in Saka for free next week and bench Vardy. Yeah, I don't hate that idea, mate. I also think that it depends who your 8th attacker is. So you've got the same 8 attackers as me. So you'd be... I don't know. I don't love that one as much, personally. So, because like Isak's not great this week, I'd probably rather have Vardy, yeah, but then Isak's got Everton next week, so you're taking a -4 to lose Isak for Everton. Vardy, like I said, I think with Vardy's going to probably score, so his return is probably up between 6 and 9, I'd imagine. I don't see Vardy going absolutely humongous. Because Leicester aren't that good. I know they're playing against Ipswich, but if Leicester were good enough to give Vardy 6 goals a game, then they would have already done that. Yeah. I don't hate it. I'll say that, but I think I would just keep it simple, Mateta to Watkins. Hi, Ross. My team is Martinez, Gvardiol, Munoz, Saliba, Mbeumo, Eze, Salah, Rodgers, KDB, Marmoush, Wissa. Okay, your bench is Raya, Isak, Livramento, Kilman. Very nice team, Callum. Not sure what to do. Open to Vardy, thinking Palmer and Watkins for Marmoush and Salah. Okay, if you're chasing, I love it. Palmer and Watkins in for Marmoush and Salah, I give that a huge thumbs up, and I would say that is probably what I would do if I were chasing. If you're not chasing quite as much, I do just think Isak to Watkins is perfectly viable. So yeah, I'll leave it with you, Callum. I like the idea of either of those, chasing Palmer and Watkins. If you're not chasing, I would just do Isak to Watkins. I think Isak and Watkins EOs will switch. So last week, around the top 100k, Isak was 10%. Sorry, Isak was 80% and Watkins was 10%. I reckon Watkins will go up to about 100%, and I reckon Isak will come down to like 40, 50%, maybe 50%. So I think Watkins will be higher owned than the Isak at those top ranks this week. Sean X says, hey Ross, don't care about the rank, topping my mini league by 50 points and 173k. I want you to convince me for Bowen Mateta to Palmer Vardy for -4. Okay, you sent me your team as well, Shaunak. I can't get behind selling Bowen for a -4. I'm sorry, he plays Forest at home this week, and Forest have been rubbish. And then he's got Ipswich on the final day. I couldn't sell Bowen as part of a hit. I couldn't sell Bowen for free, mate. I really couldn't. If you want me to convince you to do it, I would say just trust your gut feeling. Like, your gut feeling is often quite accurate. Like, and at least you don't resent the decision as much. I think I would just sell Mateta. For whether that be... You could literally just do Mateta to Vardy. I think I would just make the Mateta move. And then I think you've got the bench spot on with the defenders. Actually, do I? No, I would start Milenkovic ahead of Kirkes. Yeah, I would start Milenkovic ahead of Kirkes. I would do Mateta to someone. If you can afford Watkins, great. If not, Vardy is good. And then you'd probably end up benching Even Ilson if you make that move. That's what I would do, Shaunak. Yi Bin NG, I always never know how to pronounce that. Mateta and Konsa to Watkins and Mikalenko -4. Okay, so you're having to take the hit. I don't mind that, yeah. If you're going to captain Watkins, it's good. If you think Watkins is the best cap. Connor Brown says Savinho and Haaland to Palmer and Watkins, or Savinho and Isak to Neto and Watkins. I'd go Neto and Watkins. I'd go Savinho and Isak to Neto and Watkins. I think just about. I think Haaland's a great differential to have, especially if he does start. We don't know that it will start because we haven't seen the FA Cup, of course. Diego Sordelli says, big fan. I watch every week and I'm currently top 3K. That is amazing. Congrats, mate. Thank you firstly for watching every week, but very, very well done on the rank. So you've said, okay, I'm chasing my mini league. I want to do Marmoush and Mateta to Vardy and Watkins for a -4, but then I have a benching headache between Boehm and Burmo, KDB, Salah, Eze, Wissa. Yeah, that's tough. That is tough. I mean, my head then tells me just make one of those moves and then you don't have the benching headache, but I quite like being aggressive and chasing in the mini league and really going for it. So I would do the Vardy and Watkins moves. I think you then bench Eze or Wissa. Who would I bench, Eze or Wissa? Eze is just playing at such a high level and we think he's probably still on pens, but then his minutes are more of a risk. I would still probably bench Wissa then. But if you think Eze's minutes are enough of a risk that you're really worried about how much he'll play after the FA Cup final, then maybe Eze. But yeah, I think they're a lovely set of moves, Diego, and best of luck, mate, and great rank. Ashley has been a member for 6 months. Thank you, Ashley. Elanga to Neto and bench Wood/Wissa or KDB to Palmer. I wouldn't do either. If you really wanted to do one of those, it's got to be KDB to Palmer because I don't like benching. Like, Neto isn't better than Wood or Wissa. So I don't like that. So it would be KDB to Palmer, but I don't think I'd make that move. I'd keep KDB for the final home game of his City career. Alex James is looking back on the whole season. Who do you think have been the FPL hidden gems that have allowed you to gain such a great ranking? I don't know if I'd say I've got a great ranking, but for me, it was Mateta really early. Do you remember that spell? I brought in Mateta around... Oh, when was it? 25? Game at 25, 26, I think it was around that time. No one went to him because there was always other fives to put out and other things that they needed to do with their teams. So I kind of jumped on Mateta at that really nice point. And obviously Cunha, everyone knows about that. I jumped on earlier on in the season. But I think, yeah, Cunha and Mateta. I think the two players that I haven't owned that I probably should have was Chris Wood earlier on in the season when he went on that really nice run. And also Johan Wissa. I've barely owned Wissa this season and the man has just got so many points. So I think the forwards have been where you've had to nail it this season. Chasing my mini league is Asensio for Mbermo good. I mean, you've got to be really chasing to sell Mbermo for Asensio. But in terms of differentials for this week, I do really like Asensio. I do. Would you do Marmoush to Watkins for a hit? Milenkovic to AWB. But it blocks Saka game at 38. Chasing rank at the moment. 4 points off top 50k. Would I do Marmoush to Watkins for a hit but block Saka? I don't mind that because then you can always go for Clivert, Trossard, Martinelli instead. Like, there are loads of really nice options. I would go Marmoush to Watkins for a hit, but only if you truly believe Watkins is the best captain. If you don't believe Watkins is the best captain, or you think he is but not by that much, then maybe you just look elsewhere and leave the option open for Saka. I always feel much better about taking a hit if I feel like I'm bringing in who I believe to be the best captain. Yaz says 12 points ahead. Watkins for a -4 or Vardy then Saka? Similar sort of question. I would go Watkins just simply because you can then take another -4 to bring in Saka if you're that desperate for him, right? It doesn't for anyone, I don't think, like completely block Saka. It just means you might have to sell Salah or you might have to take another -4. So I would probably lean towards taking the -4 this week and then you can decide if you want to get aggressive once again rather than missing out on that opportunity and then only giving yourself one chance, you know? It's Joe says, hi Ross, I need to get rid of Marmoush. I can't afford Watkins and already have Wissa, Isak. Thinking Wood or Even Ilson? I prefer Even Ilson. Like, when you take into account the 2 weeks altogether, Even Ilson against Leicester in 38 is going to be fantastic. I would go Even Ilson. I also don't mind someone like a Danny Welbeck, by the way, playing against that Liverpool team that are well and truly on the beach on Monday night, and then he's obviously got Spurs in the final game. But yeah, I would probably say Even Ilson. Start Konsa or Livramento. Livramento's been very attacking, but I'd go Konsa. Bob says, 38 points ahead in my mini league. My players are... Okay, I've got your team. Do I do a -4 for Bowen and Watkins to block him, sell KDB and Whistle Wood, or just do Isak to Watkins? I think 38 points ahead, I think you can just have fun with it and just enjoy yourself, mate. So I wouldn't worry about blocking. I mean, if you want to make those moves, by the way, Bowen and Watkins are great to come in. I would probably just do Isak to Watkins. Yeah, do Isak to Watkins, 38 points. It would have to be a generational stinker from you and an absolute masterclass from him to make that up. And again, if, let's say he closes the gap massively this week, because Bowen, is it Bowen? Yeah, so if Bowen goes massive this week, or Eze goes massive, and he closes the gap to like 15 points, then in 38 you can block him. So I would just treat this week, get as many points as possible, then block in the 38. Especially 38 points is quite a big gap. I'm 42 points behind, okay? Salah to Palmer and Wood to Watkins -4. Yeah, I would do that in Captain Palmer. I would do that in Captain Palmer, Mr. Hunty. Hey, Ross, I have 48 and a 51 point lead in my 2 mini league. Okay, yeah, you're sorted. 48 and 51 points, you're laughing. Is it worth taking a -8 to cover Rodgers, Watkins, and Palmer? I do KDB to Palmer, Sarr to Rodgers, and Isak to Watkins. Yeah, I don't mind that -8, actually. And listen, even in the 48 point, you're then still 40 points ahead even after the -8. If all you care about is those 2 mini leagues, then yeah, those 3 moves seem great. You could also just not make the 3 moves and you'd still win your mini leagues. There's no way someone catches 50 points in 2 weeks. It's just not feasible. Well, it is feasible. Like, everything's feasible, but it's just not likely. Isak to Watkins and Sarr to Neto/Enzo, thanks. Yeah, I don't mind those two, especially if they're for free. I don't mind them. Don't know about it for a hit. Especially as, like, isn't that just going to force a benching headache upon you? Like, if you're selling Isak and Sarr, I can imagine that the rest of your team also looks good. You're going to then have a bit of a benching headache. But yeah, I don't mind those moves, Benjamin. Dan M says, back again, think you're right on Palmer over Vardy. In turn, bench one of Rodgers, Isak, Marmoush, Mateta. Chasing a 15-point lead. Leader has Isak. If the leader has Isak, bench Isak. Yeah, bench Isak. Honestly, though, I still think I would bench Mateta. I just think Mateta's not going to start. Maybe it's worth the risk, though. Yeah, maybe it's worth the risk. Objectively, I would rather bench Mateta and start Isak. But taking into account that he has Isak, then maybe bench Isak and start Mateta. I'll leave that one with you. I'm not sure what I would do there. Mark O'Connell... did I do that one? No. Mark O'Connell says, hi, chasing my money league. 1 free transfer. Mbermo/Eze to Neto/Palmer. Or Marmoush to Vardy/Watkins. I prefer the Marmoush to Vardy/ I'd go Marmoush to Watkins. If you're chasing in your mini league, though, and you think your mini league leader will have Watkins, then maybe go for one of the other options, Marmoush to Vardy or bring in Neto. Neto and Palmer are great. I just don't like the idea of selling Mbermo and Eze this week. So I think Marmoush to Watkins would be where I would go, Mark. Starsky says, hey, Ross, worth doing Watkins for Mateta to bench Isak this week and take a -4 for Saka next week, or just roll and go even Ilson Saka for free in 38? I mean, I have a very similar decision this week. I mean, I'm not benching Isak, but it's very similar. I would do the -4 this... Sorry, I would do the move this week to take the -4 for Saka next week. Yeah, I would do Watkins in for Mateta. It's just not a risk that I would want to take on personally, mate. 18 points off 1k. Doing Mateta to Watkins, Isak to Beto -4. Yeah, love it. I mean, go for it. You never know if you might never be 18 points within the top 1k ever again. Hopefully you will, mate, but you might as well make the most of it and go for it. Pickford or Martinez? Oh, it's got to be Jordan Pickford, I think. Yeah, Pickford. Josh says, hi, Ross, up to 11th in the world. Big shout out to Josh, 11th in the world. Rolling and Mbermo cap, okay? I reckon Watkins will be 150% EO near me, but I've got no route to him, so I need to buy a huge sofa. Mate, if you're 11th in the world, that's the sort of risk that's worth taking. Like, if Watkins blanks and most people around you have owned and captained, it's huge. I really hope you manage to get at least a top 10, mate. I don't know how far you are off first. Shall I have a quick look? I should be able to see, shouldn't I, in the overall... Yeah, like Josh is 11th. I was going to say it'd be funny if Josh is making it up. I'm literally looking at Josh's team here, 11th in the world. Josh, you've had a green arrow every week since... Do you know what? I need to show the stream this. Look at Josh here. overall. Here we are. Here's Josh. Look at that run of green arrows. That's insane. It's insane. Loads of huge scores here. 100 points 3 weeks in a row there. 85, 88, 97, 72 last week. The man is flying. Absolutely flying, mate. Yeah, do you know what? No, that's a lovely team. You should do pretty well. Maybe it's the sort of risk that you need to take. I respect it though, mate. Very, very nice team. Oh, no, what did I want to check? I wanted to check how far off you were. I was like, what was I checking? So you are 2625. Yeah, it might not be possible to win, but definitely top 10. I mean, even top 5. I reckon top 5 could be on the cards. Keep us updated next week, mate, how it goes. Make sure you're in the stream and whatnot. But yeah, best of luck. That's crazy. How crazy is that, chat? Can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. Can we ask Josh questions instead? You probably should, yeah. Be better than me. Right, where was I? Pickled Joystick says, hi, Ross. Who to bench between Bowen, Sharda, Wood, Wissa, and between Luka Dean and Wan-Bissaka? I would probably risk it on Luka Dean and bench Wan-Bissaka, but there is a chance that Maatsen starts or comes on early for like 55th minute. So it's a risk, but I think it's a risk worth taking. I would bench out of those players Kevin Sharda. I know he's been really good recently, but in terms of underlying data, routes to points, I just think that the other three are better. So yeah, I would bench Sharda and Wan-Bissaka. Mohit says, 2 free transfers, Salah and Sarr to Palmer and Saka, leading my mini league by 12 points. I mean, mate, it's a huge risk selling Salah, but it's an aggressive move. I don't hate it at all, but just know it's the sort of thing that will make or break your mini league lead. Right? Salah gets the brace that we know he's capable of. It could be game over. Salah blanks and Palmer and Saka go big. It could be amazing. Shazam, me again. Always good to hear from you, my friend. Bench 1, Wissa, Sarr or Rodgers? Oh, definitely Sarr. Just because of the minutes, right? I think if I knew all of them were going to start, I might lean towards saying bench Wissa. But I just think because out of the 3, Sarr is the only one that is very unlikely to get 90 minutes and could even be on the bench. I think I would go that way. So I think I would order them Shazam, Rodgers, Wissa, Sarr, in that order. Dennis said, missed my 3 super chats last week. That's very unlikely, Dennis. I don't think I would have missed 3 of your super chats. But if I did, I'm very sorry. Got Haaland in, absence of your expertise. Okay, sorry about that. I probably would have told you to go for it, in all honesty. So, my 11 is Raya Munoz, Mbermo, Sharda, Rodgers, Mateta, Haaland, Isak. Bench, Kivior, Burn, Rash. What would your moves be? 1 free transfer, 3 points ahead in my mini league. I don't know how much you've got in the bank. Mateta to Watkins or Isak to Watkins feels like a good transfer. The other option you've got Rashford to Asensio or Rashford to Neto. So if you don't want to sell, if you can't get Mateta to Watkins, you could go Rashford to Asensio. Or if you don't want to sell Isak, of course. But I would probably go for Ollie Watkins would be the one. Harshill says, who to cap? Bowen, Salah, Watkins, Mbermo, Palmer, Wissa, KDB. I'm 100 points behind in my mini league. You're not going to make up 109 points, but I would go Palmer if you're chasing. Palmer if you're chasing. If you're not chasing, or you just want my opinion, top left-hand corner of the screen, I've got captaincy ranking. So I've got Watkins in first, Mbermo second, Salah third, Palmer fourth, Haaland fifth, Saka sixth, Vardy 7th, Rodgers 8th. Big shout out to the likes of Eze, Kevin De Bruyne, Beto. Like, there are lots of captaincy shouts this week, but that would be my top 5. My plan this week, by the way, is to sell Mateta to Watkins. I'm just like, I've waited this long, I might as well just see if we get any early team news that changes my opinion. I doubt we will, but let's say we get an early piece of team news that Rodgers is on the bench for whatever reason, then I might decide to shift my transfers a little bit. Or if we get an early team leak that, I don't know, what would put me off. Obviously, if Watkins wasn't starting, then that would put me off. But I'm trying to think of realistically what could put me off. And there's probably nothing, but I might as well just wait a bit longer. Sumac says, hi Ross. Hello, Sumac. I think I want to go against Salah now. Don't think he's performing well. That's absolutely fine. Palmer and Watkins for Isak / Cunha and Salah. Yeah, I would do that. If you're 35 points behind in your mini league, mate, I'd probably rather keep Cunha and sell Isak, because it's probably likely that the person you're chasing has Isak but not Cunha. So I would just look at the person that you're chasing, see what their team is, but I would do probably Palmer and Watkins in for Isak and Salah. And yeah, by the way, that could go horribly. Like, that could double your rank. You could get close to 100k if it goes bad in the last 2 weeks. But on the flip side, that could really push you higher up. So yeah, I like the moves. Omcar says, don't want to do Isak to Watkins, but I don't have the money for Mateta to Watkins. Please suggest how to get Watkins. If you've got a team like mine, I don't know what your team is, so I don't know, but you're probably looking at, if you don't want to sell Isak, but you want to get Mateta to Watkins, does Ismail Assar down to someone like Enzo Fernandez give you the funds? Ismail Assar to Enzo? Or I don't even massively dislike selling Gvardiol or Saliba and just going for a cheap defender like a Mikalenko for this week or something. I think it's selling Assar down if you've got a similar team to mine, or selling one of your premium, or even a goalkeeper. Like David Raya, he could sell, but he's got Southampton in the final day. There's not an easy way to do it. You might have an easier path than I do, but I think selling Eze or Sarr down is probably your best route. Polkit says, Soboslai to Rodgers and bench Bowen, or roll. I would just roll. I think Bowen's as good as Rodgers this week. I'd probably slightly prefer Rodgers, but I don't think there's that much in it. Harshil said, and thanks for one of the best FPL context, and I hope you go... I assume that's content. For the best FPL content, and I hope you go beyond 10k, and just to let you know, I like your introduction in your videos. Thank you very much. Some people tell me to ditch the intro in my videos. What do you think, chat? Should I ditch the intro in my videos? It is a bit long, isn't it? But thank you. I appreciate that. And I hope I hit 10k as well, Harshil, but I don't know that I will, sadly. I am 20 points off top 10k, if you're wondering. 20 points. I think that's slightly too much to make up when we look at my team. But you never know. If I have a big week and then really pushing 38, this will test who's been watching my content this week. Who do you reckon I'm planning on captaining in 38, chat? Who do you reckon I'm planning on captaining in 38? Raw Entertainment says, hi, Marmoush and Mateta to Watkins and Beto for a -4. Yeah, do you know what? I respect it. Go for it. I don't mind that at all. Keep the intro. I like the intro. It's the best part. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. People like the intro. Yeah. Bowen. I want Jared Bowen cap. Yeah, I should do a captaincy poll, shouldn't I? I don't know why I've not done one yet. Captaincy poll. Yeah, in Gameweek 38, I'm very tempted by Jared. Right, captaincy. Watkins. Chat, who are you captaining in Gameweek 37? Who are you captaining in Gameweek 37? I need a third option. I'm going to have Watkins and Burmo. Do I put Salah or Palmer as the third option? Who's the most popular? Palmer. I think more people are on Palmer than Salah. Okay, I'll put Palmer. And then I'll put other. Right, there's a poll coming in the chat. There's a poll coming in the chat for captaincy. Make sure to vote on that. Yeah, I don't mind Salah to Palmer, Zodiac, if you're chasing. But, I mean, you know very well, mate. You're a very intelligent man and you know how to play this game. But you're just... You could either half your rank or double your rank if you bring Palmer in for Salah, right? You're selling one of the most highly owned assets for a very big differential. So as long as you're willing to take that risk, then yeah, I don't mind it. Ralph says, yes, Ross, on a similar points to you, did Isak to Vardy in captaining? Good luck this week. Might get Neto 2 and chase the top 10k. Isak to Vardy in cap is brave and I respect it, Ralph. Neto, I actually really do like Neto as a pump. I could very much see Neto doing well tonight against United. Just thinking about the way that he plays and the pockets that he picks up against that Man United defence, I think Neto's a really nice differential. Start Sar, Murphy, Bradley, Kivior. You have to start one of them. Probably Sar. Probably Ismail Sar. FPL Pickle is in the stream, apparently. I think she's driving home from placement. If you are listening, Pickle, we love you very much. Lots of people already asking questions. What's Pickle doing? People want more of you. Every YouTube video, people say, we want a Pickle's pick section. So we love you all. We love you very much, FPL Pickle, if you're listening. Start Saar, Murphy, Brett. I did that one. Salah and Marmoush to Haaland and Rodgers for a hit. Salah and Marmoush to Haaland and Rodgers for a hit. Oh, Marmoush to Haaland as part of that hit just could backfire horribly. If Haaland plays 120 minutes in the FA Cup and Marmoush doesn't start or something, then I don't like that, no. I wouldn't do that. I prefer just doing like Salah to Palmer, if you want to sell Salah. Dennis said 3. I swear to God, I thought I was blocked. I knew you would have said go. All good. I'm sorry. I don't know why that happened, mate. I always normally see a super chat. Anyway, either way, I'm happy for the donations. Either way, for my favourite FPL streamer, you are a superstar, mate. Thank you. 4 million in the bank. Isak/Mateta to Watkins. I much prefer Mateta. Like, if you can afford Mateta to Watkins and keep Isak, it's a much better route. Like, I feel for people that their only route is to sell Isak, because whilst I don't think Isak will go nuclear in the final 2, he's just a lot scarier to sell, especially because he's on penalties. And obviously, like, Newcastle have more to play for than Crystal Palace. I suppose the thing with Isak, though, if you do sell him, is that if they beat Arsenal, they'll secure Champions League football, so they won't need to go full strength in Game Week 38. So Pickles said that she loves everyone very much. By the way, she's not messaging me when she's driving. She speaks to her phone and it sends me the message, if you're wondering. Not that anyone probably cares. What about Szoboszlai to Rodgers and bench Sharda? Thanks. Szoboszlai to Rodgers and bench Sharda. For free, I don't hate it. Yeah, do you know what, Polkit? For free, I don't dislike that too much. I still think Sharda's fine to start, though, and just save... I'd probably just start Sharda and save the transfer for 38, in my honest opinion. Sebastian says, trying to hold my 27-point lead. Teams are matched apart from my team with Burn, Bradley, Mateta, Isak versus Marmoush, Watkins, Saliba, Ruben. Okay. One trade in hand, thinking Mateta to Watkins, maybe look at -4. So you're holding a 27-point lead. The difference is, yeah, so the only difference that can really hurt you is Watkins. I would do it, because even if you take a -4, Sebastian, that goes down to a 23-point lead. And like I say, the other 3 players, I mean, your team's not much worse off, if at all worse off. So I'd be willing to make those moves, yeah. I would get Watkins in at all costs to block your mini-league rival. By the way, he'll probably end up doing something crazy like bringing in Vardy for one of his forwards, but at least you're blocking the main threat. Is it worth a hit for Watkins or just go with Beto? I need to know whether you're chasing rank, what your mini-league rivals are doing, what the rest of your team looks like. But in general, I think Watkins is 4 points better than Beto across the last 2 weeks. Like, if you're looking at the last 2 weeks overall, Watkins just is a much better option than Beto. Sumac says, hi Ross, after making the transfers of Palmer and Watkins, should I captain Palmer to complete the risk of, or play it safe with captain as a safety net? What do you think? Let me remind myself, Sumac, where you're at. You're 35 points. I would captain Palmer. As long as you're happy, because you're at 45k, I think you said, Sumac. If you're happy to drop to 70, 80k by taking a risk, I would do it. If you drop into sort of 60, 70k would really dishearten you, then don't take the risk. But I think if you want to go all out for that 35-point gap to that mini-league rival, then I would absolutely captain Palmer. Like I say, I don't think Palmer's the best captain. I've got him listed as the 4th best captain, but I equally think he has the highest ceiling. Like, if I was to list the players in the Premier League that have the ability to get a 20-pointer on a given day, I would have Palmer as comfortably top in the Premier League. Like, Salah doesn't even have that ceiling of going 20 points plus on a regular basis. I think Palmer's done it 4 or 5 times now. I think it's 5 times since being in the Premier League, or since being at Chelsea, I should say. He's just got that ability to go monstrous, which not many people do have. Chasing 19 points in my mini-league, Sart and John-Philippe Mateta to Beto Palmer for a -4. I love that, mate. Do you know what? I could do something similar to that. Sell Sar and Mateta to Beto/Vardy and Palmer. I just think that I think Watkins is on paper a slightly better option than Palmer. And also that would be for a hit. But I quite like it as a more differential play. Ollie says, priced out of Mateta to Watkins by 0.1 million. That's tough. That's really annoying. I'm sorry about that. Go Evanilson 37, then KDB to Saka 38. Feel like nobody is going Evanilson. but he has Leicester game week 38. Everyone, their mum, their nan, their brother-in-law, and their dog will buy Evanilson for Leicester in 38. So I know no one's going this week, and it might feel like Evanilson is super differential. I can almost promise you that loads of YouTubers are going to have Evanilson on their thumbnail, and lots of people will say something along the lines of, I'll go from Mateta, Marmoush, Wissa, Isak to Evanilson in game week 38. He won't be very lowly owned, Evanilson. And also it's Man City this week. I would even want... Could you just roll? Could you just roll and then make a double move next week? Like, is Mateta to Evanilson a great transfer this week? I'm not sure it is. I would be tempted to roll, mate, personally. But I don't want to put you off too much. Adam says, would you do Marmoush / Marino to Watkins / Bowen -4? Marmoush Marino to Watkins Bowen. I think I would, yeah. I mean, Marino in 38 will be nice if he starts. But Bowen's got Ipswich in 38. Watkins and Bowen are just... Yeah, I would do that, Adam. I'll do that. Harshil says... I've lost your message. Which 3 defenders to start? Livramento, Kivior, Robinson, Sessegnon, and Milenkovic. Ooh, that's a tough one. We don't know. Do we have an update on Robinson? I would definitely say Milenkovic. I would go Milenkovic, Kivior, and Sessegnon. Not take the risk with Robinson. Livramento's got Arsenal. Yeah, Kivior, Sessegnon, and Milenkovic, I would go. Would you rather win FPL or United win the Champions League? Don't stitch me up with that. Do you know what? I'm going to answer this with my chest, with confidence. I would rather win FPL. Absolutely, categorically. United winning the Champions League would feel, like right now, absolutely ridiculous. But it doesn't affect my personal life at all. I would wake up the next day and not much would have changed. If I win FPL, this is my job, right? And I have a YouTube channel. Can you imagine if a YouTuber won FPL? The amount of just like attention on the view. So yeah, selfishly, I'd choose winning FPL. What would you choose? Winning FPL or your team winning the Champions League? Let me know in the chat. And I respect those that are actually honest. So many people are like, I would prefer my team to win the champion. But I reckon if you put a lie detector test on people, 90% of people would say win FPL, especially those that take it seriously. Surely that makes you a plastic fan. This is what I'm saying. People will pretend that like it makes you plastic and that you don't actually support your team. Winning FPL, we've done the Champions League so many times already. Yeah, I guess that is true. Like, as a United fan, I've seen us win the Premier League and the Champions League, so maybe that's why. Yeah, exactly. Like someone said they support Reading. I suppose if you support a team that's got nowhere near the Champions League, or at least isn't even in the Premier League at the moment, then you might have a different opinion on it. But yeah, I'll say it pretty happily that I'd rather win FPL. AKU says, hey Ross, Mateta to Watkins for free, or save the transfer to do Rodgers and Mateta to Saka and Evanilson for free in game week 38. Good luck this game week. Good luck to you as well, my friend. Okay, it's a very similar decision that a lot of people have. I would do Mateta to Watkins for free this week. I'd attack, like each week now is worth 50%. Game week 37 is 50% of the remainder of the season. I would attack it this week and get Watkins. Is Salah captain over Mbeumo dumb? No, not at all. Pros and cons. They're both on penalties. Mbeumo takes set pieces sometimes, along with Damsgaard. Salah doesn't. They've both got very similar creativity. Salah's got greater goal threat. Salah's chasing the records, but Brentford have more to play for. Liverpool are on the beach, whereas Brentford, again, aren't on the beach. I think it's very close. I don't think there's much to separate Mbeumo and Salah for me. I really don't mind a Salah cap. I also don't think that Mbeumo's ownership will be that much higher than Salah at the top ranks. Yeah, I don't mind it. Marmoush / Sarr to Watkins / Bowen for a -4. Oh, rather than Marino. Oh, it's even better than Adam. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer. If you can keep Marino, yeah, it's a no-brainer. Rafa K says, hi Ross, bench KDB or Wissa? If you have to bench one of them, Wissa, but I don't like benching either. And would you captain Asensio or Palmer? Listen, Asensio could go massive today. He really could, but I think I prefer Palmer for the pens. Like, Asensio might take the pen, but FPL Pickle, who's listening, will know very well that Asensio didn't do very well with these last 2 penalties. So Asensio could still very well be first choice penalty taker in the absence of Rashford. But I also wouldn't be surprised to see Watkins take the next pen. So I think I'd go Palmer, cap. Also, you can confirm Palmer's minutes where you usually can't with Asensio. Emre Kappa says, would you roll this game? We can get Saka / Evanilson next week, or get Neto this week and Isak next game week. Also, if you do choose Neto, who would you bench? Would you bench Wood this game week? I wouldn't buy Neto to bench Wood to then miss out on Saka. I would just roll. Yeah. In your situation, mate, with those sets of moves that you're presenting, I think you're much better off just rolling this week. It just doesn't feel high enough upside, really. Doriano Gillis says, hi, what would you do? 1, Sar Mateta to even Ilson Palmer. Cap -4. Game week 38, Palmer to Saka. 2, Mateta to Eva Nilsson. Game week 38, Sar to Saka. Or 3, Marino to Palmer, but Marino and Saka versus Southampton is also nice. 1. Yeah, 1. 1 quite comfortably, Doriano. Sar and Mateta to even Nilsson Palmer, and then Palmer to Saka in 38 feels good. And it might be that you decide not to make the Palmer to Saka move anyway, but you have that option. Matt Torres is 2 points back in my mini league, -4. Watkins, Mikalenko for Mateta Timber. Yeah. Yeah, I'd do that. Nice moves. Nice and easy, Matt. Dennis said, last one, no worries at all, my friend, was going for Mateta to Watkins, but I already have Konsa, Rodgers and Rashford. I see. So, Mateta to Watkins and Rashford to Bowen, or Asensio. What do you reckon? I guess you couldn't do the Asensio move, could you, mate? Because you're on triple up. So you would just be... You'd be moving one Aston Villa player to another Aston Villa player. So yeah, Rashford to Asensio doesn't work. Mateta to Watkins and Rashford to Bowen. I'd get that done. Yeah, do you know, I'd get that done. It's a nice, simple one, mate. Big love to you in Norway. I've not actually been to Norway, but I'd love to. And I would absolutely make those two moves. That Rashford's injured. Mateta's probably not going to start. And you've got Watkins and Bowen coming in. Easy peasy. MOHD says, I've got Emmy, Konsa, Luka Dean. Should I sell one to get Watkins? If you've got 2 free transfers, maybe. I don't know. I'd be taking a -4 hit to sell Konsa or Luka Dean or Emi Martinez. I'd probably just play them and hope that Spurs don't score. Unless you desperately think that Watkins is the best cap, I don't think I'd sell one of my other Villa players to go and get Watkins. Unless it was someone like Rashford who's injured. Avijit, sorry, I've just butchered your name. Option 1, Beto in for Mateta in 37 and Saka in for Sarr 38. Okay. Option 2, bring in Watkins for Mateta in 37 and Cliver in for Sarr in 38. Oh, that's a tough one. I'll just say that I've got the exact same sort of dilemma and I'm choosing to go Watkins now and it might mean that I don't get Saka in 38. But again, 37 is right in front of you. There are points on offer and I just think that Watkins is better than Beto. So I would go for the Watkins one personally. Eric says Rodgers and Isak to Neto and Watkins for a hit. Nah, not selling. Selling Rodgers and Isak as part of a -4 feels horrible. I understand you want Watkins, but Rodgers is arguably just as good as Watkins. He's a midfielder, extra point for a goal, extra point for a clean sheet. I wouldn't be selling Rodgers. Alternative is most likely Marmoush to Wissa. That still feels a bit boring. Maybe Marmoush to Even Ilson. Wissa's going to have quite a high ownership. He's not really got the best fixtures in the last 2. Could you not do Marmoush to Beto? Beto or Even Ilson or Vardy? I'd maybe be tempted. I don't hate Wissa, of course. I'm happy to have him. FPL Pickle said, oh my God, I'm in Aston. If you didn't know, by the way, Pickle lives near Aston Villa. She said, I'm in Aston and everyone's got their Watkins shirt on. I don't know if that's a sign or what. Villa at Villa Park are absolute beasts. Famous last words. They're probably going to lose 3-0 to Spurs now. But Villa at Villa Park are monstrous, aren't they? Crinidal says, sorry if I butchered it there. Crinidal. In game 38, Sarr and Isak to Saka and Even Ilson for a -4. I'll be using triple captain to balance the hit. Does it look balanced / reasonable? Given Saka and Even Ilson together, is that better than Isak and Sarr? Absolutely, categorically, yes. 100%, mate. I think they are moves that I will be very tempted. I've got Sarr and Isak. I'll be very tempted to take the hit myself as well. Yeah. It's a -4, the last move. Yeah, that's fine for a hit as well, Dennis. It's absolutely fine for a hit as well, mate. Luke says, hey Ross, 9-point lead, transfer made of Mateta to Watkins. Should I take a -4 to do Savinho to Bowen or keep as is? Happy weekend and as always, great content. I'd be very tempted to take that -4, mate. Bowen is just a better asset than Savinho for the final 2. I'd be super tempted. It might not pay off perfectly this week, but then he's got Ipswich in 38 Bowen, so... I'm biased, though. I might be captaining Bowen in 38, so... Maybe don't trust my opinion too much. Dennis says, Marmoush replacement, have Watkins and Isak, Emery AM. Marmoush replacement, question mark. So you've got Watkins and Isak. It's probably Beto, Vardy, even Ilson. It's one of the cheap boys, I reckon. Like, you could go for a Wood or a Wissa. Cunha, but I just don't think I'd want to. I would probably go for... I'd go for even Ilson, I think. Emery assistant manager's fine. If you were to push me on who I think I would go assistant manager, I think I'd go Graham Potter. Table bonus this week, Ipswich on the final day. I'd go Graham Potter, but Emery would be up there. Jay says, 2 free transfers, doing KDB to Palmer. Okay, best of luck. I like Palmer this week. Would you also do Marmoush to even Ilson or roll? Extra free transfer for 38 and start Marmoush bench Sarr? I would just start Marmoush, I think. And if you're not confident on Marmoush, Sarr's absolutely fine. I think you could start Marmoush or Sarr. I wouldn't make the move for even Ilson now. You might end up buying even Ilson next week anyway, but you don't need to do it this week. Yeah, I like KDB to Palmer if you want to really chase. But you would have to be really chasing, of course. J Pup says, chasing. Timber to Wan-Bissaka -4 to start over Saliba. Lets me sell Mateta instead of Isak to Watkins and frees up a Gameweek 38 Arsenal attacking spot. Do you know what? I was going to just say no straight away, but given the context of what you've said, I like it, J Pups. It's a move that I would make. Dan G, who to cap out of Salah, Diaz, Saka, Bowen, Isak, Vardy, or Wood? Love your work, dude. Thank you very much, Dan. I'll keep it nice and simple. I think if you're really happy with your rank and where you're at, I would just captain Salah. Otherwise, I mean, you've got loads of differentials there. I think Saka would be very tempting to me. I don't think Saka's an awful captaincy shout at all. I love Bowen, but I just don't know if it's the best week to captain him. Vardy's fun. I would go Saka or Vardy. Probably Saka. Yeah, probably Saka. I think Saka could do really well against Newcastle. Interested in your thought process here. Why start Munoz ahead of Bradley? Crystal Palace will play 3 days after the FA Cup final. Surely they'll be rotated, right? Well, firstly, Munoz has more attacking threat than Bradley. Like, Munoz's attacking threat is a joke. Like a genuine joke. Like 0.44 XGI, 0.21, 0.53. Then look at Munoz's minutes. He's played 90 in every game this season, bar... How many is it? It's one he got 16, one he got 88. This one he didn't play at all against Arsenal. I can't remember why. I think he might have picked up a knock. Then 75, and then that's it. So in every game bar 4, he's played 90. Even in, do you remember 32, 33? They had 4 games in a row in quick succession. He just played 90 in all of them. I just think Munoz is sensational. I really do. And he's just just a fitness monster. Maguire is GOAT. What a name. I love the Maguire is GOAT name. My team is... Okay, I've got your team, mate. 0.7 in the bank. Any changes? Okay, defensively, I don't see a need for a change. Midfield, you've got Mbeumo, you've got Bowen. Yeah, Salah. Eze's fine. Marmoush, Isak, Mateta, front 3. That's probably the place to make the change. I think either Isak to Watkins or... What else could you do there? Maybe Kovacic to Enzo Fernandez and bench Mateta. So I think you could sell Kovacic to another cheap midfielder or do Isak to Watkins. I think they're your best 2 shouts, mate. I'll leave it with you, but consider those 2. Or you could just roll. Keep the team as it is and then attack the final week. KDB and Isak to Palmer and Watkins. Thank you for your help. If you're chasing massively, yes. Otherwise, no. I don't think KDB to Palmer is that essential of a move because I think KDB will start unless you are, again, really chasing. If you're really chasing, I can absolutely understand it. Would you play Wissa or Strand Larsen? I'd go Strand Larsen. I understand what you mean about the Palace FA Cup hungover, Jonathan, but Wissa's just a much better asset than Strand Larsen. As much as Strand Larsen, by the way, scored quite a few goals in the last 10 to 12 weeks. Pronounce my name as you like. Thank you for the content. Okay, I'm going to go Crenidal. I'm going to go Crenidal. There we go. And by the way, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Keith says, Fleck and Gvardiol, Conser, Rogers, Mbeumo, Bowen, KDB, Salah, Isak, Wissa. Okay, you got a bench of Nico Williams and Trent and Cunha. Got a strong bench. Trent and KDB to Palmer, Cucurella, or Isak and Salah to Palmer and Watkins. I quite like the Trent and KDB to Palmer and Cucurella, especially as a Manchester United fan. Cucurella, by the way, at home, he's got 2 15-pointers this season. He gets... Do you know what? I quite like Puma. I quite like Palmer and Puma. I quite like Palmer and Kukurea. God, Puma. That's funny. KG, good to see you. My friend says Marmouche and Isak to Cunha and Watkins for a hit. Don't like Cunha. If Cunha starts and gets 90, by the way, I love Cunha, but I just don't know that. He got subbed in the 59th minute. Looks like he is very much moving away from Wolves. You just don't know what his minutes are going to look like. Marmouche and Isak to Vardy/Beto and Watkins, or even Ilson and Watkins, I think is a little bit stronger. I'd also be tempted to just do Isak to Watkins and keep Marmouche. Blackfinch says, hi Ross, 8 points off my mini league leader who has the same team. Okay. Midfielders and forwards are Salah, Mbeumo, Rodgers, Sarr, KDB, Mateta, Wissa, Isak. 2 million in the bank, 1 free transfer. Well, I think it's Mateta to Watkins, but the issue is he also going to do Mateta to Watkins? I still think you probably make the move and then maybe just captain someone else. So Mateta to Watkins and captain Mbeumo or Salah, if you think he'll captain Watkins. But that is definitely the standout move there, and I would make it. Anand says, would you do Isak to Vardy and then Sarr to Palmer for -4 or Isak to Watkins? I'm down by 1 point in my mini league and he has triple captain left. I have 0 chips. I would bring in whichever one you think he won't own. If you think he'll own Palmer, I'd go Watkins. If you think he'll own Watkins, I'd go Palmer. If you don't think he'll own either, I would just keep it simple and do Isak to Watkins. Pranav says, I have 3 Villa, no Watkins, 2 Nottingham Forest defenders, Raya, KDB, no Bowen. Rest of the team is the same as yours. Bench boost active and 20-point lead in my mini league. Please suggest 2 changes for my -4. My options are Vardy/Beto and Everton defender. I wouldn't bother with defenders, mate. It's just not worth it. They're so unpredictable clean sheets. Like your Forest defenders could quite easily keep cleans. So I wouldn't make a defender transfer. I'd go Vardy or Beto. Yeah, I'd go Vardy or Beto. So Mateta to... Oh, who would I go? I'd go Vardy, I would. I'd go Mateta to Vardy. There we go. Adwait says Salah, Eze/Rodgers to Palmer, captain Saka. I have Watkins. So Eze and Rodgers to Palmer and Saka. How can you afford that? Oh, Salah. Sorry, I've just seen it. Salah, Eze/Rodgers to Palmer, Saka. So Salah and Eze, I guess it would be, to Palmer and Saka. If you're really chasing, yes. Otherwise, no. But if you're really chasing, it's a nice way to probably make up some points if it goes well. Isak and Mateta to Watkins and Vardy for -4. Only if you need to make the move of getting Vardy to free up the funds. Because otherwise, just do Mateta to Watkins. I hate this Cunha commentary, especially after the free hit shenanigans. Yeah. You were right, Pickle. You were just a little bit late. Also, you're going to laugh when you see how your phone spelled Cunha then. Who is the best player to replace Eze? I'd just keep Eze, but otherwise, Rodgers and Bowen would be right up there for me. I like Neto as a punt as well, but yeah, this week, Rodgers and Bowen, I think, are nice transfers in. Joe G says, 11 points behind in my mini league, -4, Salah and Wood to Palmer Watkins. -4 of Salah and Wood to Palmer Watkins. Leader doesn't have Isak and I do. I expect them to make the Watkins move, so who should I cap? If you expect them to make the Watkins move, just don't do that then. Maybe just do Salah to Palmer for free. I just don't think bringing in Watkins when your mini league leader will probably also have Watkins and you're 11 points behind as part of a... So you would go to 15 points behind and you'd just be bringing in a player that they own. I would probably just swerve Watkins if you think they're going to go there and maybe just get Palmer. And then I would captain Palmer. Jared said, who should I captain? Mbeumo, Rodgers, KDB, Salah or Vardy? I've got a captaincy ranking top left, mate. I would go Mbeumo. I'm 10 points behind in my mini league. Guy at second has all but KDB and Vardy. I mean, that does offer you the opportunity, I suppose, to go for Vardy cap, but I just don't see Vardy as having the highest ceiling this week. I would personally choose between Mbeumo and Salah out of those options. I would go Mbeumo. Move Thomas Frank to Moyes or Potter or keep. I would just keep Thomas Frank. I think Brentford will beat Fulham. I will just know, I think if Palace win the FA Cup final, 8th is no longer Europa. You don't get Europa Conference League, I think, because it goes to the Europa League spot that Palace would get from winning the FA Cup final. So I think if Palace win the final, Brentford might have nothing to play for because they might not be able to get Europe. So there is a chance that they sort of take their foot off the gas if Palace win. In aggregate, bench Emi or Raya, Contra or Saliba. I would go all in. I would go Emmy and Konsa. If you want to start one of your Arsenal defenders, I would go Emmy and Saliba. Because Saliba's good for bonus points. The Fall of Matt says, here's a gift as I got a job offer on Wednesday. Top man. Big love to you, mate, and congrats on the job offer. Big love to anyone that's recently got a new job. Did Mbermo to Palmer captain, keeping Isak mad? If you're chasing, no. If you're not chasing, then yes. Because Mbermo's going to be like 120% EO probably. Izzy Gaming says, my pretty little orc. Haaland and Sarr to Palmer and Watkins, or do Mateta and Guardiola to Collins and Watkins? Haaland and Sarr to Palmer and Watkins, or Mateta and Guardiola to Collins and Watkins? You're 55k and you're chasing 50k. Well, you're not chasing them. You're basically there. I would go Haaland and Sarr to Palmer and Watkins and just go for it and just hope that Haaland gets benched in game week 37, which he probably won't, but there's a chance he does if he gets good minutes. Adam D says, took out KDB for Palmer. Okay. Got Isak Wood and Wissa up front. Need to bench one. I've got Mbemo and Bowen playing, and if to do a -4 to get Watkins, who to start? I think out of those players there, it's Isak. I'd bench Isak, then Wissa. Isak, then Wissa, then Wood. But probably Isak. Netic says, I lost you. Hey Ross, 10 points behind in my mini league. I'm certain the leader will go Watkins cap. Okay. Would you do Mateta to Beto, Sarr to Saka to Chase? I'd captain Mbermo as well. Mateta to Beto and Sarr to Saka. Yeah, spot on. Love it. Get it done. Go in 1 week early on Saka. Like, everyone's going to go Saka next week, or a lot of people will. I'm thinking I might swerve at the moment, but going a week early on a player that you know lots of people will buy the next week, it can work out really well. Dennis says, Sarr, Sharda, Mbermo, Sharda, Bowen, pick 4 to start. You've listed Sharda twice, so I don't know who the player's supposed to be. Sorry, mate. Because there's only 4 players you've listed there. You said Sharda twice. I'll come back to that, hopefully in a second. Hello again, Ross. Still 44 points behind, but I'm delulu that I'll win. It's possible, Bramjot. It's possible. Palmer cap is on differential. Took a hit for Rodgers because he served me well this season. Also differential to Watkins. Would you take Cunha out for a hit? I think you've already got enough differentials there. Palmer cap, not having Watkins, having Rodgers. Cunha's a differential. Like, he could start. I would probably keep Cunha. If I owned Cunha, I would be fine just hoping that he gets 70 plus minutes. And we know what Cunha can do when he's on the pitch. He could just play 90 in the final 2 games. You never know. Do Brentford play after the FA Cup final? Yes, Pickle. Every single team other than Manchester United and Chelsea and Spurs and Villa, who are playing Friday, play out. So we've got the Friday games tonight, which is United, Chelsea, Spurs, Villa. We've then got the FA Cup final on Saturday, and then we've got all of the Premier League games on Sunday, and then Liverpool, Brighton, Monday, and then the 2 teams that play in the FA Cup on the Tuesday. So yeah, there are no Premier League games on Saturday. Hatik says, hey Ross, love this week's FPL therapy. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. Mo was a great guest. Still 170 points up in my mini league. That's just ridiculous. After a -8 last week. Got Vardy and captained him. Start both Gvardiol and Diaz, or Bradley, or get an Everton defender. Play Bowen or Elanga, or get Palmer in. I would start Bradley ahead of Ruben Diaz, and I would play Jared Bowen and leave it there. Yeah, play Jared Bowen, play Bradley, and have a great game week, mate. Your team sounds really nice, by the way, and you're not going to lose 170 points. I could give you 15 weeks, and I still don't think you'd lose it. Jungle Boy said, midfielders/forwards are Salah, Saka, Mbermo, Bowen, Rodgers, Wissa, Wood, Isak. Isak to Watkins cap, but then who would I bench? Or should I roll instead? 21 points behind. I would only do Isak to Watkins captain if the person that you are chasing, that you're 21 points behind, you don't think will own Isak. If the person that you're chasing, you think they'll own and or captain Watkins, then there's no point doing it. So I would only get Watkins if you think they won't have them. If you think they will have them, then I would probably just captain someone like Saka or Mbermo, and I would just swerve Watkins. Like, you need to try and predict what you think your mini league rival will do. You need to look at your teams and compare. What I would do, you've still got an hour till the deadline, is open up an Excel spreadsheet, type in all the players that you have, delete the players that you have in common, work out what you think their captain and transfer will be, and then work out where you think you might gain. Because doing that, you might realize that you've only actually got 3 players that are different to each other, and that their 3 players are better, then you probably need to take a big risk and bring in a really good captain. LT says, bro, I'm chasing 20 points. Opponents and I have Mbermo and expect them to captain him or Watkins, who I have too. Who is the best captain, one of them or Palmer? I think if your opponents also have Mbermo and Watkins, then yeah, Palmer. If you're chasing 15 plus points, you need to not only own, but captain a player that the other person doesn't have. That's the only way to confirm that you can make up those points. It's a big risk, of course, but I just don't think it's enough to just hope that your differentials score enough without captaincy. Like, captain is such an effective way to catch up points because you get 2 lots of a player. Nicholas says, bench Isak or Elanga? I'd bench Elanga, I think. Chasing 30 points. My opponent owns both. If your opponent owns both, I'd maybe try and sell one of them maybe for a hit or something and you're chasing 30 points. Again, try and predict who do you think your mini-league rival will bench, because your mini-league rival will probably bench one. If you think your mini-league rival will bench Isak, then start Isak. In isolation, I think I would start Isak ahead of Elanga. Jordan says, hi Ross, play 2 of Murphy, Sarr, Martinelli, or bring an Asensio with my free transfer. Chasing big and on bench boost 38. Bench is awful this week, so not an option this week. I think if you're on bench boost 38, bringing in Asensio is a risk, right? Because Ramsey will be back at that point. You just don't know how many minutes he'll get. Could they play like McGinn, Ramsey, Watkins, Rodgers, and Asensio's on the bench? So I probably wouldn't bring in Asensio because of the bench boost factor. If you're starting 2 of them, I think it is Sarr and Martinelli, and I'd bench Murphy. I think Sarr and Martinelli are fine this week. Dread Devils says, would you do... Lost you, mate. Eze, Rodgers, Salah, Mbermo, Trossard, Wissa, Isak, Marmoush. 2 free transfers, 0.1 in the bank, 7 points behind. Any Trossard/Marmoush news? How to get Saka? Team looks quite good for this week, mate. What would I do? Nothing screams out to me there, especially with not much money in the bank. I almost wonder, is it worth rolling the transfer and going huge in 38 with 3 frees? Because then you've got multiple routes to get in Saka. I would probably do that. I'd probably do that. If you are to make a move this week, I think it's Isak to Watkins. So Isak to Watkins or roll the transfer. Carlo says, hey Ross, bench Marmoush, Cunha or Sarr? I would just about lean towards Marmoush, but I think that's very, very, very close. Toby D says, Isak or Wood to Watkins? I would prefer Isak to Watkins if I'm going to sell one. Early kickoff cap is scary. It is, but at the end of the day, that doesn't actually affect anything other than the mental side. Like, mentally, it's not great captaining someone in the early kickoff, but it doesn't actually change anything, right? It's just like you don't want having a blank at the start of the week's horrible, right? But you shouldn't really let that massively affect your decision making. What's my whoop saying? 39 minutes in the high stress zone. That's very low. I've had a very relaxed day, apparently. Villa says, overall rank 35k and 10 points behind in my mini-league. Sarr to Neto and cap Rodgers/Mbermo and avoid Watkins, or do I do the obvious Isak to Watkins, or both for a -4 and cap Watkins? Kind of want Isak versus Everton. Your name's Villa. Surely that means you're a Villa fan, and surely that means you'd want to own Watkins and cheer him on tonight. Like, because otherwise you're watching that game wanting your main striker to play. I'm not saying that should massively affect your decision-making, but if I was a United fan and we were fighting for Champions League and we had someone that was a genuine captaincy option, I'd have to own them. If you want Isak versus Everton, though, don't make the move, mate. I think it sounds like your gut feeling's telling you to keep Isak. So I would do the Sarr to Neto move and then captain probably Brian Mbermo. Although, maybe cap Rodgers. Yeah, maybe do, because I think your gut feeling based on your message is saying keep Isak. Maybe do Sarr to Neto and cap Rodgers, and that at least gives you a bit of Villa excitement. DB85 says, who to sell for Watkins, Wood, Isak or Wissa? Has to be Isak for me. Can't sell Wood or Wissa. Salah to Palmer -4, chasing. Yeah, again, if you're chasing Trevor, I like it. Darshill says 40 months. Bloody hell, mate, 40 months. It's going to be 4 years if you stay for another 8 months. And I'm not saying that you have to, by the way. Should I bench boost? Okay. So your bench at the moment is probably Murphy. And then Murphy, Raya, Lacroix, and Dan Burn. It's not a great bench, is it? I'd probably do it, though. I don't think it will look much better in 38, in all honesty. Like, thinking about who the teams have in... Although... It actually will look better, because Isak and Murphy will have a better fixture. Dan Burn will have a better fixture. You can sell Lacroix. It depends how many free transfers. If you've got 2+ free transfers, I'd bench boost in 38. Oh, you do have 2 free transfers. So with those 2 free transfers, you'd need to sell Lacroix and Sarr, I think. And then otherwise the team would look good. But you might get rotation. I'd bench boost this week. Just get out of the way. You don't want to be using your transfers in the final week to sell Lacroix, really, do you? Thank you for this season, Ross. Start Sarr or Elanga. You're welcome, my friend. I would start Elanga ahead of Sarr, just slightly safer for minutes. Rohan says, I've got 1 free transfer, 2.2 million in the bank, -4 for Sarr to Palmer and Isak to Evan-Nilsson, chasing 13 points in my mini-league. Yeah, I would make the moves there, mate, and I'd captain Palmer. It's a nice team. You could definitely do that. With that -4, high upside players, captain Palmer, I think is certainly possible. I would make the moves and I'd cap Palmer. Nick says 10 points behind. I have Palmer Bowen. He has KDB Sarr. I'd rather have Palmer Bowen. He'll go Isak/Marmoush to Ollie Watkins. Do I match Isak to Watkins or differential captain like Palmer and roll? I'd differential captain Palmer and roll. Yeah. And then in 38, if you're still behind, then you can really decide what you want to do at that stage. But yeah, I don't think Palmer's a significantly worse captaincy option than Watkins. Who should I assistant manager this week? I think Thomas Frank, Pep Guardiola, or Potter. Or Emery. I would probably go for Graham Potter if I was assistant manager in this week. Marmoush to Watkins, captain, and Martinez to Areola for a -4. Marmoush to Watkins, captain, and Martinez to Areola for a -4. Because you've got Pickford, yes. I mean, selling Martinez as part of a -4 just to get Watkins doesn't feel great. But because you're captaining Watkins and because you've got Pickford, I'll give it the thumbs up, Mike. Yeah, I don't massively hate it as much as I normally would. It's a tough position to be in if you've got. It's a tough position to be in if you've got 3 Villa already. Triple captain Watkins this week or Saka next week? I prefer to triple captain a midfielder normally. Like forwards, like I saw with Haaland earlier on the season, he got me 6 points for a goal. I just prefer midfielders, so I'd probably go Saka. Raid says, hey mate, 1 free transfer. Okay, I've got your team. Should I bench boost now or roll? So your bench would be Raya, Livramento, maybe Nico Williams, and then it would be Savinio. I think if you sell Savinio, I would bench boost. Sell Savinio and bench boost. So Savinio to Neto, or if you can afford Bowen, love Bowen, but you probably can't afford that, or Kudus. I would basically sell Savinio to someone that you've got a bit of a... You could have a fun punt on, and then I would bench boost. Italian Stallion, I still have triple captain. Should I use it on Watkins or Palmer this week, or should I wait? I think Palmer or Saka would be my triple captain shout, just because of that high ceiling. I know it's weird to say I think Watkins is a better captain, but Palmer's a better triple captain. But it's just because if you're going for that triple captain, you want that huge score. I think he's got a higher ceiling, but I think Watkins has a higher floor. I would probably go Saka 38. Derek says, hi Ross, happy Friday and greetings from New Jersey. Big love, Derek. My Gameweek 38 plan is to do KDB to Saka, but I have no money in the bank. That being said, Isak and Eze to Watkins captain and Neto for a -4, or roll for 2 free transfers in 38. Isak and Eze to Watkins and Neto for a hit. I don't think the Eze to Neto part for a hit is worth it. I don't mind Isak to Watkins for free. Eze to Neto for a hit this week doesn't feel worth it. So I would either do Isak to Watkins for free or just roll. And I think rolling's an absolutely fine option, by the way. Start Sarr or Semenyo. Ooh, Sarr. I'd start Ismaila Sarr. Jay Mafia has become a Rap Tier 2 member. Thank you, Jay. -168 this season. I think I know where to improve. Minus 168 points in hits. Yeah, stop taking hits, Sim. Dear Lord. That's crazy. Dread Devil says, I think I've taken a -4. I think I've taken one hit. That's it. I'll check that, actually. Let me do that. Check that now. I think I've taken one hit this season, sorry. Yeah, so if you go into Gameweek history where it says transfer cost, 4 is a -4, 8 is a -8. So I just took one hit in 33. Otherwise, nothing. Crazy. Minus 168 is wild. Oh, that lagged out a bit, didn't it? Get back into the middle of the screen. There we go. Hi, Ross. Start Trossard or Marmouche? I'd start Marmouche or Vardy in. I'd start Marmouche. Which two to start? Gibbs, White, Alanga, Wissa, Isak. Ooh, I would say Wissa and Isak. And just hope that Forest don't score many goals. First in my mini league. Second is 13 points behind. Used my transfer for Isak to Watkins. Still have Foden and Marmouche in my lineup. Murphy and Arsenal defence on the bench. -4 or leave it. You could just start Foden and Marmouche and hope you get lucky that at least one of them start. Like, there is a world where neither start, but there's also a world where both start. I would be tempted to just keep the pair of them and just hope that you get lucky. But otherwise, I think I would sell Foden before Marmouche. I think Foden is the bigger issue in comparison. Like, Marmouche's minutes have been pretty secure. Do you like Bowen as a cheeky captain shout? I don't mind Bowen. I'm probably looking at a Bowen captaincy in 38. So I like it for 38. I'm less keen this week. Like, Forest haven't been good defensively, but we know that they have the ability to do so. Make your transfer. I don't need to yet, but yeah, I absolutely will. My planned move is to do Mateta to Watkins and captain him. Yeah, Mateta to Watkins and cap. El Diablo 24 says, Hi Ross, I'm -20 in my mini league. -4 Salah and Isak to Cunha. Sorry, Salah and Isak / Cunha to Palmer and Watkins. My rivals don't have Cunha, but do have Isak. Thanks, mate. Okay, so I would keep Cunha and sell Isak. So yeah, Salah and Isak to Palmer and Watkins -4. That puts you 24 points behind, but you've got 3 differentials. It's definitely feasible. Yeah, Salah and Isak to Palmer and Watkins, I'd get it done. Hi Ross, I'm top 4k. Well done, Robert. I'm 14 points behind in my mini league. He can't get to Watkins. Would you get him and cap? Absolutely, categorically. That's a great position to be in, that he can't get to Watkins. 100% I'd do that. Raya or Areola if I have Kivior. If you've got Kivior and you're starting Kivior, I'd probably go Areola. I'd spread the risk a little bit. Mateta to Watkins for a -4 or roll and start Sarr. I think Watkins is 4 points better than Sarr this week. I would go Watkins. Although, by the way, Sarr could definitely score, but I would go Watkins. Rory says, chasing my mini league by 30 points. Done Mateta to Vardy. Should I do Savinho to Palmer or Saka? If I do Palmer, it's a -4 next week. If Saka, I'll Haaland. If Saka, I'll Haaland. What does that even mean? Don't know. Anyway, yeah, I would still do Palmer and force the -4. If you can get Watkins / Vardy and Palmer, if you can get a couple of these good options this week, it's worth doing. I'm very jealous of those that can get to Palmer. I know he's not for everyone, but I think he's got a high upside. Cancelled says, Evening, Ross. Thoughts on Isak to Watkins? Yeah, I'm fine with it. And who to cap? Protecting 1k overall rank. Fair play. I think if you're protecting one of Mbeumo or Watkins, I think Mbeumo and Watkins will have the highest DO, maybe along with Salah this week. If you're chasing, it's Palmer or Saka. So if you want to chase it a little bit more, mate, I would cap Saka or Bowen. If you want to protect, I would go Mbeumo or Watkins. I reckon Mbeumo might have a higher ownership than Watkins at the top ranks. It'll be close. It'll be very close. I've gone Marmouche to Watkins. Okay, mate, very nice. Keeping Wissa and Isak. Do I bench Alanga or Eze? I would bench Alanga, Marcus. Like, his minutes are more secure than Eze, but Eze's playing at such a high level. Also, for Game Week 38, do I keep Pep assistant manager and get Saka or go to Arteta? I think so. I think I would keep Pep and go Saka. It's not worth the switcheroo of selling Pep to Arteta for me. Like, Saka could easily match Arteta, and Pep, you would imagine, will get the win. Mickey Mike says, -4, Mateta to Vardy or Beto. Bench boost 37 or 38. Well, if you get Vardy is not playing in Game Week 38. So if you've missed the news, Leicester have basically confirmed that Vardy won't be in the squad for 38. So if you get Vardy, it has to be 37. Beto leaves the option open, I suppose. I would probably say 37 for most people makes more sense. Chris says 18 points behind in my mini league, 3.4 in the bank and 1 free transfer. Need a differential captain. Okay. Is there a replacement for Savinho you would captain? Can't go Bowen or Mbermo. Best differential replacement for Savinho is probably Pedro Neto this week or Asensio. And I think you could captain Pedro Neto or Asensio this week. I'm not saying I would, but you could. They're the only two that I think have that high enough ceiling. Martinelli's not awful if he starts, which we think he will. Yeah, I would probably go, say, Neto and Asensio is probably, yeah, I can't think of anyone else. If you've not got Rodgers, by the way, I'd still be tempted to buy Rodgers. Play 2 of the 3, Nico Williams, 8 Nuri, Saliba. I personally would start Nico Williams and 8 Nuri. I know lots of people are benching Nico Williams, but he's on set pieces and he's got great baseline bonus. I like Nico Williams a lot. Uti Patuti says, buy Watkins for free or Palmer for a hit. I think Watkins is the better move, but I'm 50 points ahead in my mini league and the guy behind has Palmer. You're 50 points ahead. You don't need to worry anyway. He's not going to catch 50 points unless Palmer gets another 25 pointer, which I suppose is feasible. Like if you want to, if that is all you care about, if all you care about is your mini league, I'd block with Palmer. If you also just want to get a lot of points, then I think Watkins is perfectly fine for free. Time for a drink. Start Rodgers or transfer Marmoush and start Vardy. I'd start Rodgers. Rodgers is great this week. Sells Salah for Saka for a -4. If you're chasing that much at it, then I don't mind it. You'd have to really be chasing, though, to take a hit for Salah to Saka for me. Mike Shue says, good evening, Ross. Good evening, Mike. 2 free transfers, and I'm winning by 75. Okay, yeah, you're sorted then. Mateta and Savinho to Watkins and Bowen, or Mateta and Watkins. Sorry, or Mateta to Watkins and roll the transfer for Saka and even Ilson next week. I'd have some fun with it. I'd go Watkins and Bowen now and then take the hit for Saka next week. Unless Savinho to Bowen. If Savinho to Bowen blocks you in terms of funds for doing Saka and even Ilson, then I wouldn't do it. But if you could do Watkins and Bowen and then do the Saka and even Ilson moves for -4 next week, I'd do both. Because then you also get Bowen for Ipswich. But yeah, if it blocks you going Bowen now and it doesn't allow you to get Saka, I would just roll and get Saka in 38. Thor says, narrow win against my wife in the amount of points benched last game week with 26 to her 25. I can't remember how many points I had, but there was a fair amount. She handed me a 27-point defeat overall. Yes, big love and big up to Thor's wife. What a legend. I hope she has a good season next year. I hope you both do. Hopefully you finish first and second in the world. I'm not going to say who I hope wins it, but I hope you both finish very, very well next season. But yeah, thanks for the updates as always, mate. Nitty Grader says, okay, you give me your team with some players with question marks. Tempted by -4 for Watkins and Rodgers, FOMO, but wary of first game blank curse. I wouldn't worry about the first game. Like, ignore that. It could happen, but it's not because it's the first game. Like, the curse doesn't actually exist. So Rodgers and Watkins for a hit. So you would take out Isaac. No, maybe Marmoush. And Murphy. I don't know what you can afford. How much have you got in the bank? 2 million in the bank. So you could do Marmoush to Watkins and Murphy to Rodgers? Or does it not quite work out the funds? No, it doesn't work out the funds, does it? I'm trying to work out your team here, mate. It's a little bit difficult. Isaac and Murphy to Watkins and Rodgers. Yeah, I would be tempted. I would probably do that. I probably would, yeah. I know it's a bit FOMO-driven, but it's also the upside that they have this week. Have 3 Villa. Who would you change Isaac to? I wouldn't. If you can't get to Watkins, there are no other forwards this week I'd be that desperate to buy. My defence is Gvardiol, Konsa, Ruben, Munoz, and Livramento. Can you choose 3? Yeah, for me, it's Gvardiol, Konsa, Munoz. I'd bench Ruben Dias and Livramento. My main have been Gvardiol and Konsa, but doubting in the third one between Ruben and Munoz. Oh, I didn't read the last bit, mate. If your mini league rival is 30 points ahead of you and they own Munoz, I'd bench Munoz. The only way to catch up 30 points is to completely just try and differentiate your team as much as you can from the person ahead. So yeah, I would bench Munoz and start Ruben Diaz in that case. Darren Baker, been a member for 25 months. Thank you very much, Darren. John O'Brien says, hello, mate. Start Savinho or Mateta? Start Savinho or Mateta? Oh, they both stink, don't they? I'll go Savinho. I'd start Savinho and hope that he doesn't start the final and therefore could start Bournemouth. Starting Gibbs White or Sarr? Gibbs White. Yeah, I don't think you need to take either of them out this week. I would just start Gibbs White, I think. Hello, Ross. Love your videos. Thank you, by the way. I'm 2 points off the top 10k. Hopefully you can make it. Mateta to Beto, which allows me in 38 to move Eze to Saka, or Isak to Watkins this week and Cap, and next week Eze to a different Arsenal mid or Clivert. Considering you are so close to the top 10k, but I would get Watkins this week. Watkins could end it for you if he goes big. And then you have the option next week. You could even take a -4 to get Saka if you think it's that desperate. Yeah, I would do it. I would do Isak to Watkins this week, mate. But again, I'm biased because that's what I'm planning to do. Masiak says, I can't get to Watkins, too many Villa players. Contra or Marston's replacement, and to who? I have Guardiola, Munoz, Livra, Saliba, and Raya. I just wouldn't buy Watkins if you've got triple Villa. But if you have triple Villa and you want to replace Konsa to Mikalenko this week's fine, or Konsa to Kirkes ahead of 38, sorry. I would be tempted to try and plan for 38 and get Kirkes. But yeah, if you can't afford that, Housen, also good, or Mikalenko this week. It depends if you want to start them this week or not. J Pup says, since I'm chasing and starting Wan-Bissaka, should I start Areola over Martinez? Rival probably starts Raya over Areola anyway. Thanks again, Ross. You could start Areola. I've got a fit, like Fabianski might start this game anyway. It might not be Areola. It's Fabianski's final home game for West Ham. So you might not get Areola regardless. I would probably start Martinez and Wan-Bissaka. I would leave Areola, I think. Last thing you want is for like Fabianski to play a half or something, you know? That'd be a disaster. Hi, Ross. Start Isak or Eze? I would start Eze this week, mate. Mo says, Eze to Palmer or Sarr to Bowen? I think I prefer Sarr to Bowen overall. Yeah, I think I prefer Sarr to Bowen. Marcus says, my only problem is if I want to go to Saka, I think I'd have to sell Salah. But you leave that option open, right? You might want to do it, you might not want to. But you've got the option to. We've all got that route, and then we can decide in 38. Darren says, hi, Ross. Bench one of Bowen and Burmo, Saka, Salah, Rogers, Wissa, Watkins, and Cunha. That's a fantastic team, Darren, that you're in that position. I think it's one of Wissa or Cunha. I would probably lean Cunha just because Wissa's minutes are very safe and Cunha's aren't. But if I knew that Cunha was going to play 90, I think I would bench Wissa. So I'll leave it there. You judge Wissa, Cunha's minutes. I would just about bench Cunha, I think. Joseph Stack says, hi, mate. Hope you and Pickle are okay. I appreciate that. Matt Pickle will be arriving after the deadline stream later this evening. Milenkovic, Kirkes, 8 Nuri, Salah, Palmer, Sharda, and Burmo, Wood, Watkins, Isak. Only decision is captain and Sells or Henderson. It's a lovely team, mate. That's a team that will also look pretty good in Game Week 38 as well, looking at the team. Especially people like Kirkes is a great player to have 38. Sells or Henderson? Just because we don't know what Palace are going to be like on Tuesday, I would probably start Sells ahead of Henderson. Captain. If you're chasing Palmer, if you're protecting Watkins or Mbeumo, I'd leave it there. Or just who you think is the best captain. But yeah, I think if you're chasing Palmer, if you want to protect Mbeumo and Watkins. Watkins in and cap or Haaland cap? Who has the highest ceiling? The highest ceiling, I think, has to be Watkins given the fixture. Double City defence or bench Ruben for 8 Nuri? I would start 8 Nuri ahead of Ruben Diaz. Yeah, I would. Aaron says, Martinez, Konsa, Gvardiol, Munoz, Mbeumo, Salah, Bowen, Rogers, Wissa, Isak, Watkins. My bench is Sarr, Kivior, Livramento. Defence/keeper help, Arsenal or Villa. Keeper help. I don't know who your second goalkeeper is because you've not listed them. So Martinez is a fine goalkeeper to start though. I think you've got the bench spot on I think you've got everything spot on. Yeah, you've got it spot on, mate. I think you've got the bench absolutely perfect. No complaints from me. I'm going to assume that Raya is your backup goalkeeper, maybe. And I still think you've got it absolutely spot on with who you're starting, Aaron. Aditya says, Captain in Burmo or Palmer? Overall rank is 250k and not very happy with it. Leading my mini league by 50 points and everyone is going in Burmo cap. It depends what's more important for you, mate. Is it more important to 100% solidify the mini league win, or is it more important to try and make up some rank? If it's more important to solidify the mini league win, just captain in Burmo. Just no point risking it. Because if Burmo gets to 20 points and you've not captained him, then they're starting to approach you a little bit. For what it's worth, I don't think they're very likely to make up 50 points anyway. But yeah, I would decide what's more important to you. Raya and Consa or Martinez and Kivior, or double up? I would probably double up Consa and Martinez, but if you're going to go for one combo, then it's probably Martinez and Raya and Consa, sorry. Julian says, I stupidly sold Bowen to KDB. Do I swap back? No, I think De Bruyne will start. I do. I would just keep De Bruyne. Also, I have Mateta, Isak, Wissa. If you've got the money to do Mateta to Watkins, I would do that. Otherwise, I would just bench Mateta, start your other 7 attackers, and just leave it. JMafia33 says, hey Ross, happy Friday from Colorado. Big love to you in Colorado. Eze to Saka for free. I think I'd just do that in 38 personally. Then start Rodgers over Isak, Bowen, Salah, and Burmo, Rodgers, Saka starting. Then start Cunha and Wissa or roll. I would just roll, mate. I do think it's a move that I don't hate. Like, I think Saka going 1 week early on Saka could work really well. But Eze's also performing at a very high level. I think I would leave that move, personally. I think it's very close, but I would just leave it. And hopefully you get top 50k, mate. That's a really nice rank. Sorry for a little bit of visual lag. Hopefully the audio still comes through absolutely fine. Charlie Mus says, chasing 25 points, 1 free transfer, Saka and Marmoush to Palmer cap and better / Cunha, or De Bruyne and Watkins, or Haaland and Sarr out for Palmer and Watkins. If so, who cap? I wouldn't sell Saka this week. The only option that I like there, and I'm not even a huge fan, but Haaland and Sarr to Palmer and Watkins and Captain Palmer. In fact, that's the one I would do. Haaland and Sarr to Palmer and Watkins and Captain Palmer. Good luck, Charlie. Baggio says, 39 points behind my mini league. Who should I captain? If you're more than 20 points behind your mini league, captain the player that no one else will own in your mini league, which is probably Palmer. If it's not Palmer, then captain Watkins. But most people in most mini leagues probably, unless you're like in an analytics league or a Chelsea mini league, they probably won't have in captain Palmer. So he's the one. Haaland and Murphy to Palmer and Watkins for a -4 hit. Yeah, I don't hate that. Start Sarr or Strand Larsen. Oh, that's tough. I would still start Ismaila Sarr, I think. But that's definitely a close one. I'd go Sarr. Just because he's a midfielder more than anything. Hi, Ross. Should I sell Sarr to Bowen and bench Cunha? Or start Cunha and bench Sarr and roll? I would probably roll. I don't know that has enough upside this week in Anthem, and Cunha could do really well. I would probably start Cunha and roll. Rusty says, I have similar team to yours, but the front is Wissa, Watkins, and Marmoush. The only way I can get Palmer is Sarr to Palmer and Marmoush to Beto for a hit, but that brings a benching headache. Is it worth it or just roll? I would only do it, again, if you're really chasing and or you think Palmer is definitely the best captain. If you think Palmer's definitely the best cap and or you're chasing, I would do it. Otherwise, I would just roll. And yeah, that does provide a benching headache, but benching headaches aren't the worst thing in the world. I'm not going to read out Preeti's message, but if anyone that is watching wants to read Preeti's super chat visually, you can scroll through and read Preeti's super chat. I'm not going to read that, but it sounds like someone would be very happy if Cole Palmer scores. Hey Ross, you said no to Cunha. Is he injured? He's not injured, but he played 59 minutes in the previous game, and he's almost definitely leaving Wolves at the end of the season, and Bellegarde, Strand Larsen, and Manetzi are all fit. There is a world in which Cunha gets another early sub or doesn't start in one of the final two. I don't want Palmer or Saka. Which two should I sell? Isak, Marmoush, Salah, and who should I buy? You don't want Palmer or Saka. I just wouldn't sell any of them then. Just roll. Make a move next week, KG. If you don't want Palmer and Saka, there's the only thing I can think of is Isak to Watkins. Is the only other move, but it's not very differential. Nshep says, I'm undecided on captaincy. I want to go Watkins, but hate going for the early game. Thinking possibly in Burmo or Salah also. I'm under 1k rank. Fair play, Nshep. Okay, undecided on captaincy. Want to go Watkins, but hate the early game. It depends how much you hate the early game. If you hate the early games enough to truly put you off, then just don't do it. But I will say once again, the early game has no bearing on what will happen. Like, it's just a normal game for Watkins and for Rodgers, right? Not because they're playing on Friday night and they're the early FPL kickoff that they're suddenly going to blank. Of course, if they blank now, people will say, I told you it was a thing. It's just not a thing. I've just realised we're over an hour and a half into the stream. I've not asked at any point for anyone to like and subscribe. I've normally asked about hundreds. I just looked and there was barely any likes. So if you're watching right now and you're enjoying, we're not far off 151,000 subs. How far are we off? We're only 50 subscribers off from 151,000. So please, could you like the stream if you're already subscribed? But if you're not subscribed, you don't even have to like. All I ask from you is that you subscribe. Only 50 subscribers away. There's definitely one of the 50 of the 4,000 people now that are watching that aren't subscribed. Please do subscribe. Who would you take out from Haaland, Wood, Wissa to get Watkins? I wouldn't, probably. I would keep that front three. If you have to sell one, I would probably sell Haaland because it will free up the opportunity to get Saka in 38. David says 2.5 in the bank, 3 free transfers, 15 points off the top 50k. Mateta, Eze, Marmoush to Palmer, Watkins, Beto, or Murphy, Mateta to Rodgers, Watkins, then who to cap? Oh, that's a tough one. Considering you're chasing 15 points, which isn't going to be easy, I would do Palmer, Watkins, Beto, and then... no, but I like Rodgers. I would do Murphy and Mateta to Rodgers and Watkins, and I would cap Watkins. And then next week in 38, if you're still quite far off, if you're still 10, 12 points off, then you can take a huge risk. But if you close the gap, you might not need to take such a big risk in 38. Yeah, I would go for Rodgers and Watkins and go all in on Aston Villa. Who is the best 4.3 million or lower defender, preferably good fixture in 38? 4.3 or below. Good fixture in 38. The only person I can think of off the top of my head is Vandenberg. Chat, who's the best 4.3 defender or below for Oliver? Oliver, take a look at the chat and then hopefully they'll help. I can't think off the top of my head. Vandenberg is fine. Yeah, I'm not... Agbadou? Agbadou's not awful. Kilman? Oh, Kilman. Yeah, if Kilman's still 4.3, Kilman, great shout. Sessegnon's not awful, but yeah, Kilman. I like Kilman. There we go. I knew the chat would come in clutch. Right, where was I? Liz says, last minute decision for me here. Same team as you, except Eze, brackets not Sarr, Saka, not Bowen, Marmoush, not Mateta. Okay. Transfer Isak to Watkins and switch out Rodgers or Konsa. 2 free transfers. I wouldn't take out Rodgers. So yeah, if you really want to do Isak to Watkins, I would take out Konsa, and then go for whoever you want. But yeah, I wouldn't be selling Rodgers, Liz, in a million years. So yeah, I would have to take out Konsa in that case. I have Raya, bench 2 of Konsa, Gvardiol, Ruben, Konate, Kivior. I would probably bench Konate and Kivior, and I'd start Konsa, Gvardiol, and Ruben Diaz. Chasing 20 points in my mini league, says Ivan. Our front 8 has Isak, Wissa, Eze, and Burma, KDB in common. He has Murphy, Salah, Cunha. I have Mateta, Rodgers, Sarr. What moves would you recommend / captain? I have 1 free transfer and triple Villa. I reckon... Ooh, that's a tough one then. I think you probably sell... You could go Mateta to Vardy or Beto. If you don't want to do that, I think you probably go Sarr to a midfielder that you like a punt on this week, which is probably Asensio or Neto. I think I would do Sarr to Asensio or Neto, and then hope that goes well. I do think that him having Salah though is a big win in comparison to your team, and he'll probably do Murphy to Rodgers. So yeah, I think I would go Asensio or Neto in for Sarr. Oh no, you can't. You got triple Villa, so you can't go Asensio. Sorry, mate, that was a silly thing to suggest. I would go Neto then, Pedro Neto. Hi, Ross. I need advice on who to bench out of Eze, Isak, and Rodgers. I would bench Isak, my friend, and I'd start Eze and Rodgers. And thank you for the support. Khan says, I need your help. Okay, I've got your team, Khan. Should I do Isak to Watkins, leading my mini league by 31 points? Yeah, so you can't do Marmoush to Watkins. Defense looks fine. Midfield's good. Yeah, easy peasy. That's a really nice midfield, by the way, mate. That's an exceptional midfield, actually. You've literally got my midfield plus KDB instead of Sarr. Yeah, Isak to Watkins. Isak to Watkins. Ella with the super chat, or Elia, sorry, but I've not seen the message. Sorry about that. Danny Way says, I have to take a -4 to get Watkins or just get Asensio for free. Protecting 25k, but also not satisfied about my rank. If you're not satisfied with your rank, I probably wouldn't get Watkins, but you could fall very far if he goes big. So it's up to you. Do you want to run the risk of maybe falling back to 45, 40k, but with the potential to go much higher? Or do you want to sort of stick with where you are and maybe push higher? If you want to take a bigger risk, it's Asensio. If you don't, then Watkins. Dan M says, Mateta to Vardy, is it worth a -4? It depends who you'd play instead. If you're having to play Mateta, then maybe. I would be tempted to make the move, yeah, especially if you're chasing. Kaloyan says, triple captain, when and who? I would say either Palmer/Watkins this week or Saka next week. I would probably go Saka next week if you were to push me. Guys, we're 15 subscribers off 151,000. 15 subscribers. If 15 of you, there's definitely 15 people right now. Or if you're sat there with your mum, your dad, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, just get them to subscribe. just subscribe on their account. I'd appreciate it. Only 15 more subs to hit 151k. Marmoush and Eze for Palmer cap and Beto for a -4. Yeah, if you're going to captain Palmer, it's worth it. It's worth it for captaincy. You know who says 15.10 in my mini league. Rival most likely will transfer in Watkins, whereas I'm tripled up on Aston Villa, so I can't get Watkins, and no way to get Palmer/Bowen. Should I just start Sarr and roll, or risk a free transfer of Mateta to Beto/Cunha? I would just start Sarr and roll. And then, listen, let's see what the damage is. If it's really, really bad, then maybe you fall behind, but then you've still got one more game week to then attack. I think I would roll, start Sarr, and then you can work out with those 2 free transfers next week how much you either need to protect or to attack. I think that puts you in a stronger position overall. Fellow United supporter, I'm so nervous about Wednesday. If you're a United or Spurs fan, I'm sure you feel the same. I'm so nervous. Salah, Elanga, Bowen and Burmo. Rodgers for Elanga or bench Wisser to get Rodgers in the squad and have Watkins and Wood up top. I wouldn't get Rodgers. I think Elanga's fine. I think Wisser's fine. Don't know that it's worth breaking your team to get Rodgers. Not breaking your team, but you're just causing a massive benching headache. If you're going to make one of the moves, I'd get Rodgers for Elanga. Start Isak or Marmoush. I think I'd start Isak ahead of Marmoush. And sell Konsa to Kirkers. Sell Isak to Watkins -4. I think I'd sell Isak to Watkins for a -4 and get Kirkers, because Kirkers also helps you for 38. I would do the -4 for Kirkers and Watkins cap, mate. Play Raya or Sells. If you've got another Arsenal defender, Sells, otherwise Raya. Any good differential captains with low ownership? Palmer, Neto, Asensio, Vardy, Beto, Saka. I have Haaland and Watkins and won my mini league. Captain the robot, 52k overall. Yeah, you can do it. It means if you want top 50k, I'd probably play it a little bit safer and go Watkins cap. But if you're just not too bothered and you just want to have some fun, yeah, Haaland cap's not terrible. Bench Marmoush, Isak or Rodgers. I think it's just about Marmoush, but I think that's fair. I wouldn't bench Rodgers. It'd be between Marmoush and Isak, Liz. I'd probably bench Marmoush. Hi, Ross. Sarr and Mateta to Palmer and Watkins -4. Watkins cap thoughts. I'm thinking of Palmer too. I'm chasing my mini leagues. I would make the moves and I would captain Palmer, Ben. Yeah, make the moves and captain Palmer if you're chasing. I'm going to be captaining Watkins myself, I think, but I would captain Palmer if I was really chasing where I wanted to be. And I know you could argue I'm chasing top 10k, but top 10k was never my rank to chase. So yeah, if I was really chasing like top 100k or something, then I would probably go Palmer cap. Start Williams/Munoz and Rodgers/Marmoush. Definitely Rodgers, and then probably Munoz. Munoz and Rodgers. Hey Ross, great content. Thank you very much. Similar team as yours, except for Mateta to Watkins and Bowen to Eze. Well, I'm going to do the Mateta to Watkins move. Do I sell Eze for Saka or roll? I wouldn't do it this week. I think 3 free transfers, as you say, will be super spicy for Game Week 38. 3 free transfers in 38 is so much fun. I would roll. I think Eze's fine this week. Pratik says, I need your help, mate. Sounds good. I hope I can help. Leading my mini league by 20 points. My rival has KDB and probably will get Watkins in. I've got 3 Villa players. 1 free transfer, 1.5 in the bank. Hits, transfer, roll, cap. Team below, thank you. I'd be tempted to get Watkins in to protect. I would be tempted to do something like Concert to Kirkes and... Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, I'd be tempted to do something like Concert to Kirkes and Isak to Watkins and protect. If you don't want to protect, I think you can possibly get away with rolling your transfer this week and just captaining probably in Burmo or Salah. Like, you've already got a decent team there, mate. I don't think you need to make those moves, but I would be tempted to make them. -4, get Watkins in, get a good player for 38 in Kirkes for Concert, and then you're sorted. Eze to Palmer for a hit or start Eze? I would just start Eze unless you really want to cap Palmer. Elias says, Isak / Sharda, captain in Burmo / Watkins, 16 points if he has AM. So you're trying to catch 16 points. If you're trying to catch up 16 points, I'd start Sharda ahead of Isak and I would captain Watkins. If you're trying to protect 16 points, I'd start Isak and cap in Burmo. Hyros, 5 points off my mini league leader. We have the same midfielders and forwards as you, but he has Cunha and I have Mateta. 1 free transfer, 2.9 in the bank. Any other options other than Mateta to Watkins? I mean, there are other options. I'm just not sure. I understand what you're saying. You think they'll get Watkins, but I still think it's worth getting Watkins. Like, 5 points isn't a lot. You're in a fine position being 5 points behind. I don't know that you need to differentiate in such a critical spot of the team. I would just get Watkins. And then next week, then you can differentiate in 38. Keir says, I'm 50 points behind top of my mini league. Would you do Salah for Palmer and captain and Mateta out for Vardy -4? I had a -4 next week. I mean, you're probably not going to catch 50 points, mate, so you might as well go for it. So yeah, I would do Salah to Palmer and cap. Isak to Watkins and Mateta to Beto for a -4. Again, yeah, yes, if you're chasing, Jay. Stefan says, hi, Ross, Sarr or Murphy, Nico Williams or Munoz? I would start Sarr and Munoz. I'd go for the 2 Crystal Palace boys, believe it or not. Any triple captain recommendations? I think it's Watkins or Palmer this week. And then I think it's probably, in 38, it'll be Saka, really. Maybe a Cliver or even Ilson. Hey, mate, would you start Luka Dean or Bradley? What are your thoughts? Let's see if we get a team leak in the next 10 minutes. But I think Luka Dean's got the highest ceiling this week. I have Haaland. You transfer out Omar to Beto. I don't mind Marmoush to Beto. It doesn't fill me with that much excitement, though. Do we have any team news? Not yet, no. Olympian captain Watkins abandoned ship. He had really good ranks in his 2 previous seasons, so I wouldn't buy into that too much. Why have you benched Bradley? I don't want to bench Gvardiol and Konsa because I think they're great. Sorry, Gvardiol and Munoz. And Konsa's just got much higher clean sheet chance this week. Should I just make my transfer? I don't see a world in which Watkins is benched. So I think I might just make the move. I'll maybe wait like 3 more minutes, but let me have a quick scroll of Twitter, see if anything... I'll do it on my phone so that my computer doesn't die. Bruno to Bowen, please help. I don't mind Bruno Fernandes to Bowen, yeah. Can't see any news or any kind. Let me see. Have there been any leaks about how strong Manchester United are going to go? That might help a few people out. I'll have a look. No, it all looks pretty quiet on the leaks front at the moment. Is Watkins essential with either Emery with assistant managership? Nah, because if Watkins goes big, then Emery also probably goes big. So no, I don't think that's essential. Start Mateta or Sarr? I would start Ismaila Sarr ahead of Mateta. Double Man City defence or Big Dan Burn? I'd go double City defence there. Chasing 63 points, should I captain Haaland? Honestly, mate, if you're chasing 63 points, you can do whatever you want. You're probably not going to do that in 2 weeks. So do whatever you want. Have fun with it. Would you swap Isak to Watkins? without the context, yeah, I think it's a fine move, but I'd need a little bit more context than that. Need to bench one of Munoz, Ruben, Konsa, Mikalenko. What do you think? Well, not Mikalenko. It'd probably be Ruben Diaz. Probably Ruben Diaz. Hi, minus 15 my mini league. Can't get Saka, Palmer, or Watkins. -4 Mateta to Wood. I don't mind Chris Wood. I'm not going to hate on the man too much, but it feels a bit of a boring low upside transfer for the final two, personally. Thanks for making my life easy in FPL. Assistant manager active, best manager pick, best differential manager. I would go Graham Potter. Graham Potter has table bonus this week, so if he beats West Ham, he gets the big boy, like he can get 20 points, and then he has Ipswich in the final day. So I would go Graham Potter, and I would start Eze ahead of Wissa. Bench Livramento and Munoz. I'd bench Livramento, start Munoz. Hey man, rank Livramento, Saliba, and Nico Williams. Nico Williams, Saliba, Livramento. Marmoush to Beto could be a good 1 week punt. Yeah, I don't hate it. Isak and Rashford to Saka and Watkins -4. Bench Mateta. Week 38, Mateta to even Ilson. Okay, I like that. Or Mateta and Rashford to Watkins and Bowen, -4. 38, Sarr to Trossard Martinelli, but creates a benching headache. Oh, that's a tough one. I think I prefer the Saka, Watkins, and even Ilson combo, mate. I would go for the first option, Stephen. Just about. It's very, very close, by the way. But I would just go for Saka, Watkins, and even Ilson as a trio for the final 2 weeks is good. Russell Baker says KDB and Milenkovic to Palmer and Vandenberg, or KDB/Eze to Neto. If you're going to captain Palmer, I would go for the first option. If you're not going to captain Palmer, I'd go for the second option, Russell. Ram says, who would you sell for Watkins, Isak or Cunha? I would probably sell Cunha. Thanks for the recommendation. Back again. No worries. Going Konsa to Kirkes and Isak to Watkins cap. I like it. Sharing the team again in case you can't find the previous super chat. But you didn't share the team. Or are you going to share the team in the comment? I can find your previous super chat, Pratik. Where was it? I say that. Maybe I can't. Okay, I've got your team. Yeah, that team will look super strong. I wouldn't start Kirkes this week. You're buying Kirkes for next week, so I wouldn't start Kirkes. I would start in your team. Then it would be Saliba, Gvardiol, Konsa, and then yeah, you're having Kirkes for next week, mate. Bench one of Marmoush, De Bruyne, or Isak. FA Cup. I'd bench Isak. No, I'd bench Marmoush. I'd start De Bruyne and Isak, and I'd bench Marmoush. I think. Thoughts on bringing in Haaland in this week? No hit. I don't think I'd go Haaland, given that they play the FA Cup final after the deadline and then they play on Tuesday. Like, we just don't know if Haaland's going to start in Gameweek 37. Fellow United fan, you're back for more. Mbermo, Elanga, Salah, Bowen. Bench Elanga for Rodgers. Yes, I would start Rodgers ahead of Elanga, absolutely. Watkins, Wood, Wissa up top. Bench Wissa and add Rodgers. Out of all of those options, I would probably bench Elanga. If that's your question, which I think it is. Evan Ilson as a differential this week. I mean, if you need to start Evan Ilson this week, it's not bad. 38 is when he's going to be best, obviously. Vardy or Beto. Remember that Vardy will not play in 38. Leicester have said that he won't be in the squad. This is his final game. So if you don't need him for 38, I would prefer Vardy to Beto. If you do, go Beto. Khan says, I can't do Isak to Watkins. Have Rodgers, Konsa, Martinez. Rest of the team. 1 free transfer, 0.7 in the bank. Should I still go for him and take the -4? I think in a similar way to what I said for someone else, if you want Watkins, which I don't mind, it's Konsa to Kirkes and Isak to Watkins. Konsa to Kirkes, Isak to Watkins. Or Konsa to Housen if you can't afford it. So you get a better defender for next week. You still get Watkins. You're not massively then sacrificing your team across the 2 weeks. Like, you've got enough of a bench. You could just simply play Nico Williams, Bradley, Gvardiol, you know? Right, I'm just going to make my move. I don't want to run the risk of forgetting because it's getting a little bit too close to the deadline. So it's Mateta out and then Watkins in. Mateta to Watkins, confirm transfer. Make captain, save team. This is when we now get the news that he's not starting, but hey ho, if we do, that'd be season over. Let me just take a screenshot of my phone. Look at that triple Villa. Going all in on the Villa boys. They better not. Every time, by the way, I would probably bench all your Villa players if it was me. Every time I try and trust a Villa player, Villa absolutely. You just copy what Harry does. You know Harry all week has been saying he's not going to get Watkins. You do know that, don't you? I just want to make it very clear that you know all week. And also, he's selling Isak. He doesn't even have Mateta. So if anyone's copying anyone here, he's copied me. But yeah, every time I try and rely on Villa, it never goes very well. Oh no, actually, I don't want Salah Vice. Actually, do I want Salah Vice? I'm gonna keep Salah Vice because everyone's got Mbermo Vice. Why not? I'll keep Salah Vice. Screw it. I hope I don't end up regretting that, but yeah, no, I'm gonna Vice Mbermo. I'm gonna end up regretting that. I think. Let me change my Vice. It's the sort of move where it shouldn't matter, hopefully, but you just never know. And I do think that Mbermo is the second best captain in my team, so there we go. Again, hopefully that's not a move that will actually matter because hopefully Watkins plays. Thoughts on Eze captain? Again, we just don't know what's going to happen in the FA Cup final. Because if in the FA Cup final Eze picks up a knock, then he might like cameo off the bench. Is Asensio starting? I've got no idea, mate. T. Helms says 20 points ahead of my mini league rival and sold Isak last week and kept Mateta. Any reason to do Isak to Watkins to cover rather than Mateta, or just do Mateta? No, I would just sell Mateta, mate. Mateta's just a better player to sell. Yakshay says, best triple captain this week or next week, 24k rank. Watkins or Palmer this week, Saka next week. I would probably just Saka next week if I was on triple captain. Simon F says, Marmoush to Wissa or Isak to Watkins, or both for a hit. The Marmoush transfer would allow KB to Saka next week, thanks. I would just do Isak to Watkins. I don't think Marmoush to Wissa is a great move this week. Don't love it that much. Yeah, I would just do Isak to Watkins. Corey says, hi mate, buy McNeil for Alanga or a roll. I would just keep Alanga. I think Alanga's fine. You've got under 5 minutes till the deadline. I don't know that traffic will be that high today, but I'll just get your moves made. Doesn't look like we're going to get any early team news. But for what it's worth, you would imagine that the likes of Rodgers, Asensio, Watkins start. But I've not had any early team news on Aston Villa. Which one's the early... Is it the Villa game that's at 7:30 or is it the United game? Because one of them's at 8, isn't it? I should know this. Yeah, Man United's at 8:15. Okay, so Villa are the early kickoff. Vandenberg or Konsa to start? Definitely Konsa, yeah, Konsa. Bench Isak, Bowen or Eze? I'd bench Isak there probably. Yeah, Villa the first game. So we can watch the first half of the Villa game and then at half-time switch to the Man United game. Watch Rasmus Højlund score a brace. If you want a differential banger, Rasmus Højlund. I don't mind Rodgers captain for those asking, by the way. Areola or Sells? I'd probably go Sells. Wood to Watkins. Probably not a move I'd make. Sonic's Nemesis, miss you. 62 points behind. Good to see you, by the way, Dash, mate. I know. Yeah, 62 points is going to happen, mate, but might as well go for it. Bench boost. What's the shout here? So you got 0.1 in the bank, 1 free transfer. What is the... Oh, sorry, guys. I've just seen how much it's lagging. That's my bad. Should be back with us soon. Oh, what's the move? It's arguably Solanke to someone, isn't it? But then, no, Mateta. I would say Mateta to Vardy or Beto. Mateta to Vardy or Beto, and I'd leave it there. Bowen for captain. I prefer Bowen captain in 38 rather than 37, personally. I want the most unhinged possible differential transfer, and I'll do it right now. Unhinged. What's an unhinged? Mason Mount. He's probably not even going to start. Unhinged transfer. Buonanotte. It's not really unhinged. I'll go Buonanotte. Buonanotte or Enciso. There are two unhinged transfers. Buonanotte or Enciso. Someone said I look rough. I probably do look rough, but it's also the lighting because there's loads of sunlight coming in, which makes my face look darker. So I've got my normal studio light, but the lighting's terrible. So yeah, I do look rough, but also the lighting is not great. I just refreshing my team. I want to make sure those moves went through. Big team. Yeah, it's all good. Ahmad. I don't know if Ahmad will start. I think Ahmad could get minutes off the bench. And even if he does start, Ahmad won't play 90. There's been no team news and no team leaks. Are you going to Bilbao, Ross? No, unfortunately, I couldn't get tickets. No, I'm not going to Bilbao, sadly. I would love to go to Bilbao, though. Although it's so late now that even if I could get tickets, the amount of money for accommodation and flights, I don't even know if there would be flights anymore and stuff. After all that, I went Eze to Parma Cap. Fair play, mate. Good luck with it. No team leaks. Isaac to Watkins done. Nice. I like it. Am I the only one captaining Beto? No, there's a few. There's a few. Would you take a -4 if you are 2 points behind the mini league leader? It depends what the -4 is. But at that stage, just try and get as many points as you possibly can. You're partnered with United and they won't give you tickets. It's not quite United. It's Tezos, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, it would have been nice. Please answer that. Tell me which is better, De Bruyne or Sarr. I'd rather De Bruyne this week. Right, less than 30 seconds. By the time you hear my voice, it may well be the deadline, so get your teams locked in. Elanga or Bowen? If it's not too late, I would start Bowen. I can hear the clock chiming near me. Isaac or KDB? KDB for me. That is it. By the time you hear my voice, the deadline would have hit. We are done. Keep up all the great work, Rossi. Love the thought process. Thank you very much, AKU. Shazam says, we are locked, and we are indeed. Right, let me tweet my team. Ooh, we are locked in. Ooh, Zoff triple captain Mateta. I respect it. I respect it. Right. Drafts. There. Already got it prepped. Nope. Do not want to create an image with Grok. Thank you very much. People forget Villa got smashed by Spurs earlier in the season. That was a very different Spurs, and that was a very different Villa, though. I think it's quite irrelevant. But I suppose it could happen again. You never know. Stranger things have happened in football. Not much stranger, to be fair. That would be one of the stranger things. Right, I need to tweet and put on Blue Sky. Copy. Livramento's you've just super chat, mate, but the game week's the deadline's done. Gone. So did Zoff captain Watkins or Mateta, mate? Did I say Mateta? I meant Watkins. He triple captain Watkins. Can we reach 1,000? We're only 9 likes off. Also, did we hit 151,000 subscribers? I don't think we did we? Oh, we did. Thank you. If you're not subscribed, though, you can still subscribe. After everything, Harry went for Watkins. Harry gets really bad FOMO and he gets really scared of ownership. So I'm not massively surprised. That's not even a dig, by the way. Like Harry will be the first to admit that he gets very scared when players are highly owned. He gets really, really nervous. You should see him in the chat. You only see what happens publicly, but in the chat he's panicking. Right. Post my team on Blue Sky. Are you ready for Ahmad next season? Mate, he's going to be the first name in my team. Why is Mateta so high in the captain poll and Sharda? So what? I've lost it. I lost that message. What did Praz do? I think Praz got on Captain Watkins, if I remember correctly. I've not really checked, though, but I think that was what was being done. I'm going to lean forward, my back's hurting. Oof. Ross, I am deluded to Captain Vardy. Not deluded at all. Could go well for you, mate. Is that pinned? Done. FA Cup final prediction. 2-1 City. When are you and Pickle going to get married? Well, we're still quite young. I mean, I'm 28. Pickle's 23. So, is she 20? Yeah, I'm 28. She's 23. So, we're both pretty young. No real rush. But soon, potentially. You never know. Have an FPL-themed wedding. What are you up to this weekend with Pickle? Just chilling, honestly. But it'll be nice because normally on Saturday, you've got firstly a deadline stream. And then secondly, you've got football. So you've got the football all day and a deadline stream. Our Saturdays are really normally taken up with FPL, so it'll be nice that we've not got FPL. Kieran said, I did Wissa to Watkins, Salah to Palmer -4. Nice. 100 points top of one of my leagues, chasing the other by 40. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to chase, selling Wissa and Salah to Watkins and Palmer is the way to do it. Can you please make a video for Game Week 38, please? What, a free hit video? I don't know if there will be a free hit video as such, but I can maybe put a free hit draft in one. In fact, I will. In one of the videos, there'll be a free hit draft. So yeah, I can do that for you. Who did Pickle captain this week? FPL Pickle captained Mbermo. Captain Mbermo. Are you back next year, Ross? Any changes planned for the pod? Yeah, I'm back next year. Yeah, I'm not stopping the content. The pod, not massive changes. There's a couple of little things like the differential game I might change up a bit. I might potentially look at building a slightly better set because at the moment it's just a TV behind me. I don't know if it's worth the investment, but there's the potential there. I don't think there's not any massive changes planned for the podcast, no. Something that is a change for next season, I think some of you will be happy about that, is I'm going to put my videos on Spotify and Apple Podcast. So you'll be able to listen to my videos on audio platforms, which is hopefully a positive thing. F1 predictions this weekend. I'm going for a papaya whitewash. Yeah, probably Piastri to win his 4th in a row, isn't it? I'm going to go Lando P1, Oscar P2, and then probably Max P3. I don't believe... Anytime Max looks like he's struggling with the car in free practice, he smashes it. Watkins benched. What? Don't say that. I hope you're trolling me with that. Yeah, thank God. Someone said Watkins benched as per lazy FPL. Should have seen my face. I had a panic attack. Boo to the people in the chat. I'll let you off on this occasion, but normally I will. I'll just ban you from the chat if people do that. It's not my sort of humour, you know? Don't find it funny. Sadie's ex-boyfriend has been a member for 30 months. Thank you very much. Yeah, my head would have been on Jupiter as well, mate. What's your sub-target next season, Ross? Probably like... It does slow down eventually, right? So I think like 180,000 would be nice. Maybe 175,000? 200,000 I think is a bit too much of a... Is a bit too much of a lofty goal. I don't think I'll gain 50,000 subs next season. You missed my super chat, did I, Columbus? Should I sell Marmouche for a hit or just play Isaac? I mean, it's too late anyway, mate. The deadline's gone. The deadline's gone. And I'm sorry for missing that. I think I did. I missed a couple. Oh, I'm sorry. It's when they're so close to the deadline, I do sometimes just a few slip through. How's your PhD going, bro? It's going okay, thank you. It's a little bit slow, but it's not going too bad. Ross, what is your rank target for this season? I don't have one, mate. Top 50k was always the target. I've not really changed that target, so just to stay where I am. Like, if I can get top 10k, then great. But I don't think I'm going to do it. Probably. What chips would you like next season? I think I would get rid of assistant manager. I think it will stay, and I don't have a huge issue with it staying, but I don't love it. Like, to be fair, my best 3 game weeks this season was when I had the assistant manager active, so it's helped me a lot, but I still don't. It's just not. It's not for me. I don't think I necessarily want more chips. I'd probably prefer fewer chips. I don't think they're necessary. Like, or I'll tell you what I wouldn't mind is just having a free hit and a wild card and a bench boost and a triple captain for each half of the season. So, you know, with your wild card, you've got one up until game week 19, and then you've got one wild card after. I wouldn't mind having all 4 chips in the first half and then all 4 chips in the second half. So you don't have to massively change the chips. But it gives it just gives you a bit more fun. Like, in each half of the season, in those early weeks, you can actually play the chips. Everyone's just saying I missed their super chats. How many super chats were there? I don't think I missed as many as people are saying. No, I think people are just trolling now. I've answered them all. I've answered them all. 1 week assistant manager is better. Yeah, maybe doing it like that, but then it's just a bit pointless, isn't it, really? Because you have to free up fund and free up a spot just for 1 week. Bench boost is the... I hate bench boost, man. Bench boost is a shite chip. Yes, we were talking about that on FPL Tom's stream earlier. I'd really like 2 of each chip. Yeah, 2 of each chip would be nice. I'd like something that allows you to move a player off the bench. Like, once the game week's done, you mean? Yeah, I don't mind that. It's just this... But then it's not... Like, there's no skill required then. You know? I like double captain. Yeah, so rather than triple captain, you got double captain, which is just... Or like duo captain, where you get like 2 people that you can captain in a given week. I always said that I don't mind the idea, and this isn't a chip, but it's just a change to the game, is making it so that your vice captain gets 1.5 times the points. So every week, your vice captain actually genuinely matters. They get their 1.5 times. Because you don't... It's very rare that your captain misses out. Like, no one actually ever needs their vice captain. Vice captain is almost worthless. So I don't mind the idea of that. The term arse man always makes me laugh. Am I mature? No, I'm sure you're not alone. $1.25 maybe. Yeah, maybe 1.25. What is 1.5 times an odd number? I guess they round up. It's a good point, actually. I guess they round up or round down, as long as it's consistent. What about a chip called 12th Man? Just adds the highest scoring bench player to your team. Yeah, I like it. I don't hate it. But then there's not that much skill involved. I guess you have to decide the week where you want your 12th man in there. Yeah, so yeah, maybe. What's your club team for this week, Ross? I can show you. I'm not renewing the contract for players now because we can do a meet now, actually. Let's do a meet now. It's going to look weird because of the green screen, but hey-ho. Oh, elite. Elite midfielder. Newcastle. 84. Bruno G's not bad. Bruno, decent. I'll reject. My team for this week is that. Bro, answer please. Who should I put triple captain on this game week? Oh, in game week 38. Saka, probably. Shazam says, great stream today, Ross. Lots of decisions made. Have a great weekend with Pickle and good luck in the final. See you for the final stream tomorrow. Big love, mate. Thank you as always. Thank you as always. I really want to meet up at some point if you're up for it, mate, and have a drink as well. If you don't drink, then we don't have to drink. We can have a coffee. But I want to have I want to meet up at some point. So hopefully, I don't actually know where you live, I don't think. So I'm not asking you to provide your exact postcode, but we'll have a chat and we'll hopefully get that sorted at some point. But have a great weekend, mate. Do you not keep players on club at the end of the season? No, so they made an announcement, and this is specific to this season, by the way, but with club, for this season, it's going to reset your players. Northampton. Oh, fair play. Yeah, okay, we'll get that sorted at some point, mate. I will be doing a meetup in Birmingham at the beginning of next season, because I'm moving to Birmingham to be with Pickle. We're going to move in together in literally, like not long now, a month. In a month, we're going to be living together, so... Yeah, I'm moving to Birmingham, so I'm going to do a meetup in Birmingham. I did one in Nottingham last year, and it went really well. So, yeah, I'd like to do one again. I love this comment. James says, "Hi, Ross. I like how you stay streaming after the deadline, unlike a lot of FPL YouTubers. It's like cuddling and talking after SEX, rather than just going straight to sleep." That made me laugh. I love being here with you guys. I'm normally quite hungry and tired, and I'll admit I'm quite hungry and tired, but I do love streaming. It is quite... I tell you what, streaming's always quite difficult. Like, people that stream all day, every day, they're great. But I think FPL in particular, because I'm answering, like, loads of questions like this. You know, like, if I was streaming a game, I could be quiet for, like 30, 45 seconds whilst I'm playing. And then you can go for a wee. But FPL at the deadline is absolutely relentless. Like, it's... Like, by the end of it, I'm so tired. How about a kickoff deadline chip when you can have a week when you can make changes right up to the kickoff? Oh, I don't mind that. Yeah, if there's a week where you think you're going to get loads of leaks or something, or you're like really like you'd probably play it in a week where you've got 3 Man City players, wouldn't you? What curry are you getting tonight? We are going to get. I'm going to get a chicken madras. I'm going to get a vegetable biryani, and probably a Bombay aloo. I'm going to get a Peshwari naan. Pickle will probably get a tarka dal. We'll get some poppadoms, bit of mango chutney. Yeah. I'm going to get a madras, a Bombay aloo, a biryani, a Peshwari naan, a tarka dal, 4 poppadoms, mango chutney, bish bash bosh, Bob's your uncle. Food in my belly. I love a good curry on a Friday or Saturday, you know? Evening, or what did I miss? Nothing, Frosty, mate. You just turn up whenever you want. Doesn't matter. What's your excuse, eh? You've been working, have you? Casual. What a casual man. Doesn't take FPL seriously. Have you ever been to India? I have not, no. I'll be honest, guys. I'm going to insult so many people. I don't love paneer. So everyone's suggesting paneer stuff. Like, I would have paneer. Oh, the teams are out, aren't they? I would have paneer, but I'm not like a big paneer guy. So that would put me... Oh, here. Perfect. Rogers, what? Oh, Luca Dean doesn't start. Sorry if you're a Luca Dean owner. That sucks. But you've got Watkins, Rogers, Asensio, Konsa, Cash. Basically, all of the key assets start other than Luca Dean. So I'm sorry if you have him. That's an annoying one. Let's have a look how non-full strength Spurs have gone. I reckon we could see a decent team. Oh, apologies. Have they not posted their team? Why are teams so bad these days at actually remembering to post the teams on time? Don't know what Spurs' team is. All right, Smithy. Six-pack in the gym is not as important right now. I'm actually being really good. I've lost 2 kilos in like a week and a half. Almost 2 kilos. I'm on a cut right now. I got up to 84.5 kilos, which is a big boy. But yeah, now I'm on the cut. Here we go. Oh, they've gone B team. Oh, they've gone B team. Oh, they've gone very B team. Yeah, that's full. Oh my lord, that's full. Oh lord, that's full blown B team. It's not an awful team, I'll just say, but that is not their first. Okay, I was very wrong. I thought they would go a little bit more. I thought they'd go a little bit fuller strength. I did say this, Frosty. It could even be that their B team's just better than their A team. Pickle, if you're watching, what time's your train? I'm going to message you. Pickle, what time is your train? What time will you be arriving? Yeah, that's not good, is it? If you've gone without Watkins, that's not what you want to see. I'll leave that on the screen for a little bit. That's the team. He got spooked by the Kulusevski injury. Yeah, it basically sounds like he just didn't want to... I know, Reguilon still exists. So where is Rodgers... Where do you think Rodgers is playing them? Do you think Rodgers is playing off the left? I'm trying to work out what I'm expecting. Or do you think Rodgers is on the right again? So do you think it's John McGinn or... So who's on the left? I think it... well, Asensio's left-footed, isn't he? So I'm wondering if it's Asensio on the right, McGinn through the centre, and then Rodgers on the left. You think it's McGinn on the left? I would have thought McGinn in the middle, and then you put Asensio and Rodgers on the wings, and then I think Rodgers goes back out to the left. I hope it's the left. I think Rodgers is much more effective off the left. But the thing is, if Rodgers is playing on the right, he's up against Reguilon. McGinn is on the left. I'm a Villa fan. Okay, you think McGinn left. Okay, then, that's fine. Rodgers could still do damage, like I say, against someone like Reguilon. Ross, I'm going to set up a club for the final 2 game weeks. I'm going to start proper next season. Any best tips? I would just say, Courtney, like, have fun with it. Work out the way the game works. And also collect gems and tokens, because gems and tokens, the tokens you get through meeting with me and through rejecting players, and then the gems, you can carry gems and tokens to next season. So just try and build up as many tokens and gems as you can, basically. Is Konsa playing? Yeah, Konsa's there, centre back. Yeah, okay. So Asensio through the middle, McGinn off the left, Rodgers off the right. Hey Ross, big day on Sunday for me. I'll be finalising the date for my marriage. Not sure I'll be able to join next week. We'll catch you next season. Cheers for all the help this season. Massive congratulations, mate. Do not worry at all about not being there for the stream, as long as you get your team locked in. And thank you for all of the support. Every stream, Shaunak, you've been there, so I appreciate you, mate. The Tottenham lineup is diabolical, I know. Early 2026 FPL team thoughts. Yeah, there are some players that I want. I'm looking at Lewis Skelly, because he'll be a defender. Ahmad. Eva Nilsson. Cunha, especially if he joins United. Minte, whatever you want to call him, at Brighton. There are some players that I'm eyeing up for sure. Am I cooked? I went Palmer, Cap and Watkins Vice. No, I think... Listen, just because Spurs are playing their B team doesn't mean that Watkins is automatically going to haul, but... What Rodgers assisted from the right last week. Rodgers' assist threat has been really good from the right, but his goal threat has been a lot lower. I think Lewis Skelly is listed as a midfielder. We're talking about next season, my friend, for next season. Frimpong? Yeah, but if Bradley's still there, like, is Frimpong going to be fully nailed? Predictions for when the price reveals will be. I reckon price reveals will be week commencing the 13th of July. Or they'll be at the end of the other week. So I reckon FPL, if you want my prediction, I reckon FPL will go live on the 10th or 11th of July, or like the 17th. It normally goes live on a Thursday, Friday. So I think it'll either be the 10th of July or the 17th of July. Could be 17th, although that's a bit late. I reckon somewhere between the 10th and 17th of July. Is when the game will go live next season. So price reveals will be just before that. Yeah, Declan Rice could be a genuine option next season. If they keep him at a cheap price again, he's been getting forward a lot. Right, guys, I'm going to have to shoot because I'm a little bit hungry and I need to relax. And I also need to shower before Pickle gets here because I don't want to be absolutely stinking, do I? That's not ideal. But I want to say thank you as always. Just in case there are any people that are here right now that won't be here for the Sunday stream. And by the way, I truly hope to see as many of you as possible for the post-deadline Game Week 38 stream. We'll stick around for a fair bit for that week, especially because we've got all of the lineups to come out. But yeah, I just want to say to anyone that won't be there next week, thank you for all of the support this season. I'll do a proper thank you next week. But yeah, thank you. I really do appreciate if you stick around and you're here every week. Like it means a lot to me, more than you probably know. So thank you. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Hope you enjoy the FA Cup. Hope you enjoy all of the FPL stuff as well. And yeah, I'll see you next Sunday for the stream because all of the games are at the same time. 2:30 p.m. deadline, 4 p.m. kickoff. We'll probably start like 2.5, 3 hours before the stream, before the deadline. It's going to be a big boy. But yeah, I'll see you then. Have a wonderful weekend and I'll catch you soon. Bye, guys.